Comics Toss, Episode 2, Master of Magnet. Alright, here we go. Another Comics Toss. This is our new show from FandomNight.com, and it went over really, really well. It was our most downloaded show this month already.
Hell, it kicked the shit out of fucking Sentai.
Yeah, it even beat Sentai. That blew me away. I could not believe that. Beat it, not by much. After me and Jeremy looked at the final numbers, it beat it by about 200.
Yeah. Which, I mean, that's not terrible, but I mean, considering the fact that it is a new show, I'm just more...
That's why, because it's new.
I'm going to wait to see how the numbers even out, how they flatten out as time goes, but I wonder if we just stumbled on our second big show, because this went crazy in one episode. And, I mean, it's no small feat when you think about it. Sentai has been going and growing for a while, and in one show, this was like, bam! And it beat those numbers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it surprises me, but that's a reason to stick with it. And so we are on the second episode. Well, okay, the second story arc. This is episode 3 and 4, and I guess we should go around the room. Yeah, Reploid Bill, William Bush,
Seth Lovell-Sario,
Scott Action Jackson,
Shane McCree, Proto Guy.
Okay, so just like last time, very simple show. We all took notes. I will begin going down my notes, and we'll try to stay as chronological as possible. And then, if I end up passing something that's on your notes, you guys will call me back, and we'll make do.
Well, should we go into costume designs again?
Actually, that's one of the first things. But the first thing in my notes is before we even begin, I need to address something that I feel is very important.
Other than the fact that Shane's here and I actually took notes instead of running off a memory like I did last time.
Here it comes. If you are watching this show with us and you did not spend the $20 to buy the DVD, you're not actually watching it.
Yeah, I know.
The Hulu version is not what we grew up with. The voice actors are different. Some of the scenes have been changed. A little bit of the animation was altered. And it is actually, through the voice acting, substantially different. Because one thing that was brought up by Shane last night when me and him were just talking randomly is he said, how come Gambit can't hold his accent?
Because that ain't Gambit.
Because that ain't the same voice actor.
Because I had to get caught up. I was not in the first episode, so I watched the first 2 episodes before I watched the ones that we're going to be talking about. And when I was listening to Gambit talk, I'm like, okay, he has a strong Southern accent. And I was thinking, it seems like he had it, but then he would talk again, and it wouldn't be as as strong as it was before. I'm thinking he's having problems holding it. I mean, I've never had a Southern accent, so I don't know if it goes in and out.
Storm is remarkably different.
Yeah.
Storm is remarkably different.
Oh, she picks up a Russian accent, I think.
I don't know about that, but her lines are different. The voice actress is definitely not the same person. It's a different show. Changing of one voice actor can make the show different. This has multiple changes.
I feel like Wolverine stayed the same.
He's the same guy.
Yes.
Cyclops was not altered either. There's a couple of guys that they're the same.
X, I don't think Professor X was changed either. And I don't think Jean Grey was. She didn't talk a lot.
Yeah, I was going to say, how would you know?
She had a couple lines. I'm thinking,
oh, yeah?
I remember.
Couple?
Yeah, she had
Two?
a couple. Like, oh!
Okay, literally, out of all the X-Men, she has had the least amount of fucking screen time.
She said,
Shane.
Morph, can't you feel it? And what happened isn't your fault.
It's not his fault either.
Yeah. By the way, Shane, let me help you out. Spoilers for this episode. Jean's not in it at all.
Actually, neither is Gambit.
Yeah.
I have note of that as well. But now that is out of the way, the first thing that we are going to do is another costume talk. Let's talk Magneto.
Okay. when he
purple. Okay, hold on. Red bodysuit,
and purple.
red bodysuit, purple trunks, purple belt, purple metal thing on his chest, purple cape, big ass purple cape. By the way,
purple outline on the helmet.
The ego is strong with this one.
Yeah,
red helmet and purple. Yeah, purple. What do you call that? Outline.
Thing,
yeah.
Aren't the gloves purple too?
Oh, yeah.
I think the boots are.
Does he have gloves?
I don't think he wore gloves.
I think in the animation he doesn't. Does he?
You
sure?
I think he did have gloves and boots, but I forgot the color. So
purple.
Yeah, probably purple.
Yeah, probably purple.
Yeah, if he has them, they're purple.
I mean, if anything, it might have been like purple and red striped. So,
but I seem to remember him. I seem to remember him closing his fist, and I thought for sure I saw his hand.
That's a possibility.
Then again, some of the animations back in the 90s can be weird like that, where it shows a glove and the next scene it's like, oh, it's
his gloves.
Okay, yep. I figured as much.
And they're red gloves. That's why they throw you off.
Oh, yeah,
they're red gloves, and he has these metal bracelets.
He has red gloves, but the toys, he has purple gloves.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the toys are... Fuck them.
So, that is Magneto. Oh, and he's got white, flowing, beautiful locks. Yeah. Got that Fabio white hair.
It is gorgeous.
It is gorgeous.
If you want to know what my thing, I thought he looked cool.
It's what he's always. I can't really think of him any other way.
It's kind of standard.
That's iconic as hell.
No, trust me. I play like Marvel Puzzle Quest. The only other outfit that they have for Magneto is like the all white.
Yeah, the white one.
And the all white suit is basically like quote God Magneto.
No,
type of thing.
He
like,
changed.
I can't remember.
He changed to white during the Uncanny run, where he was teamed up with Scott and they opened the Xavier Institute.
Yep.
There was a civil war of sorts between the X-Men that split them down the middle, and it all dealt with whether or not to let kids in on the battlefield. That's literally what it came down to, is that Cyclops believed that some of these kids needed battle experience because the world was coming after them, and if they didn't know how to take care of themselves...
The war was coming to them.
Yeah, the war was coming to them. Sooner or later, they're going to have to fight. This is our chance to show them. And at the same time, Wolverine was like, no, these kids do not need to be on the front lines with us. We need to train them and hold them back.
Which for us seems a bit weird, considering that we mostly know Wolverine to be more bracing people for a war than...
There was a point in time. I don't know, but that animated show, Wolverine and the X-Men.
Yeah.
Wolverine was the leader of the X-Men.
He was the leader. There was yes. It did happen in the comics as well. But yeah, he's one of those characters. Like I said, he's complicated. His persona puts off a certain aspect, but he is not like that.
Yeah.
The big three, because like in DC, you had to have a big three in X-Men. And in my opinion, from what I've seen so far, the big three is Cyclops, Wolverine, and Storm. There's your big three. Because they seem to be in the most. They seem to have the most. Like this Magneto.
So far, they permeate the series more and hold the attention of the main screen more
Gambit and Beast had their moments.
We're only 4 episodes in.
Yeah.
But they seem to be the big ones.
So far, they are the ones that have got the focus.
I mean, Jubilee's got a lot of time, but nobody likes her, so it don't matter.
Well, the reason why Jubilee has a lot of time, if you didn't listen to the last episode, is because she came out like a year before the show did, and they were like, "Oh, so she's the new hotness. Let's
and she's the one.
Let's make sure we put her into the show."
Yes, Bill wanted Kitty Pryde, but could not have Kitty Pryde.
Damn right, I wanted Kitty Pryde. In fact, we're going to be doing a special episode where we go back and we do the episode that launched right before this.
Doesn't she appear in the show?
Kitty Pryde does kind of introduce us with the X-Men Evolution series.
In X-Men Evolution, she is in the show.
Yeah, once all this is over, or maybe before we enter Season 2 of the story arcs, we're actually going to go and watch the small piece animation that was released around the time as the video game. It was kind of like a pilot for what was going to be an 80s series that didn't happen, where like Wolverine is Australian.
You mean like back in the old Spider-Man cartoons?
I kind of remember that.
Type of stuff?
Yeah, and then there's
when I was listening to the first episode, and you guys were talking about Wolverine's costume and stuff, I wasn't part of that episode.
You weren't part of that episode?
Sorry.
Keep going.
But I always because I seen that episode where he had the Australian accent. I was thinking Wolverine would have been cool in this series if he had an Australian accent.
I know it's weird because the dog's trying to get into the room.
The dog walked in and he's looking around like, what is happening in here? So anyways, Magneto, I'm going to give that a pass. 100%. He is exactly what he should be. That is Magneto.
Yeah, that is definitely Magneto.
Yeah.
Now, however, there are a few other points to Magneto I'm going to be bringing up later, but for looks, that is definitely Magneto.
Okay, we're done with Magneto, so the next person on our talk roster, for terms of costumes,
should be Sabertooth.
is Sabertooth.
And,
Yeah, that's,
Okay,
Yeah.
I have one big question. Huge question. This is a big question. Is he naked?
ish.
Is he like Beast, or is that a big bodysuit?
I'd say a big bodysuit.
See,
Yes.
you're wondering too, aren't you?
Well, look, when it comes down to this show, I'm figuring they wanted him to be more like Beast, so he actually is naked and that's all fur covering him.
okay.
But when it comes down to, like,
The fur up by his neck is where the fur is.
well, yeah, but I mean, at the same time, if you've seen him in, like, the comics and stuff, there's other times where you see him, and that basically, it looks like it is just a bodysuit because he walks around, and the only thing different about him is he has fangs, claws on his hands, and fucking weird cat eyes.
He's gone through massive changes in the books because he's been very bestial, and now he just kind of looks like a guy with long hair.
Yeah, because, like, the first time he showed up was actually like an Iron Fist. Because there's another point that I want to bring up when we get to the next episode. Because I was trying to see something, so I started looking on Wikipedia being like, okay, who the fuck could this be? And I'm looking and it's like, yeah, his first appearance is in fucking Iron Fist number, like, 22. And I'm like, huh?
Sabertooth premiered in Iron Fist.
Yeah.
It's kind of wild. It's kind of wild.
Too bad Sabertooth couldn't have premiered in the Iron Fist Netflix series. Oh, wait.
It's kind of strange where characters show up, like where they're introduced and then where they end up being at home. Like Wolverine came from the Hulk, and then Sabertooth, he comes from Iron Fist, and then Rogue actually came from the Avengers.
Yep.
She premiered in the Avengers. So yeah, it's just kind of wild where that comes from. But what the fuck colors are those? It's like brown
It's
and
yellow.
Yeah, yellow.
Is that
kind of
yellow?
Brownish.
I don't know if that's yellow.
He-
Peach-ish.
Look, let me put it to you this way. Sabertooth looks like the shag rug that Bill and I had in our home. So anybody who wants to see Sabertooth's colors who has never seen him before,
He does look like a 70s shag rug carpet.
go to fucking YouTube, look up Reploid Productions, and try to find some of the old episodes of, like, The Four Chairs or fucking Fandom Night Reviews back when we were up in, like, Bill's attic fucking reviewing shit. That's what Sabertooth looks like, is that fucking carpet on the floor.
Sabertooth was not part of. I did not write him in my notes because I didn't need to. You can't forget Sabertooth.
Okay, but here's the thing I asked while you had to go out and get the dog out of the room. Is he naked? Is that what he just looks like? Or is that a
Shane's face
suit?
literally just...
Well, here's
blank.
my question. Why does he look like that? Because here's the thing: is his mutant ability? I know he's a mutant.
His mutant ability is Wolverine.
Yeah.
Wolverine doesn't look like that.
I know.
Why does Sabertooth look? I mean, I hope to God that's a really fucking...
Sabertooth has more animal in him.
Yeah,
I think.
he was still part of the Weapon X program.
Because
but
technically the two of them, their powers are animalistic powers and super healing.
Yep.
Because they both have the thing where they can smell the air, detect things. They have almost like a sixth sense about the environment. Except Sabertooth actually has claws.
Yes.
Like an animal.
Yes.
not just three.
Not just the bone claws that come out.
Yes, he has actual claws, but I always thought, I was hoping that was a bodysuit. Because if he actually looks like that...
Please let it be a bodysuit. Please
If you
let it be a
think about it,
bodysuit.
he doesn't... I mean, I'm not an expert on the X-Men. I don't read the comics like me. I'm reading the newest stuff, but... I don't think he looks like that in the comics.
No.
Why does he look like fucking Kraven the Hunter?
Nowadays, he just looks like a dude with long hair.
Yeah.
He just looks like a biker dude with long hair.
With that mane,
In fact, he looks similar to like Triple H.
Yeah.
That's what he looks like in the books now. He just looks like a blonde Triple H.
Yeah.
Triple H
With claws.
Only he wants to try to one-up Wolverine, so he runs around in the fucking 20-gallon cowboy hat.
Well, I was going to say...
Only he doesn't need to wear it because it's the only hat he can wear.
I actually prefer the way that Sabertooth looked in the X-Men Wolverine Origins to this Sabertooth.
That's pretty much what he looks like now.
Except without the long hair.
Yeah, because he had short hair in that. But yeah, other than that, that's when I know that's a movie, but when I look at Sabertooth, I just think of a guy that has Wolverine powers, but instead of having awesome claws,
extreme animal.
So here's the thing:
abilities.
Is this guy a pass or fail?
Oh, this guy's a definite fail.
We got 2 fails.
He's a fucking fail.
I give him a 50-50 because when I first saw Sabertooth, it was in this show, so I figured that's how he normally looked. Then when I saw him outside of in the comics, it was like, okay, you look more like a dude. Maybe something happened because I didn't start noticing him in the comics until way the fuck later, where they were probably like, yeah, this 90s shit is fucking stupid.
For a while,
So-
in the 80s, he did look like that in the comics.
I just assumed it was his mutant, like the mutation turned him into that. But then
I got a few of the old comics where it has him and Wolverine going back to the old
it just doesn't
Kanda
but then
base thing.
When you look at when you look at his design, it doesn't look like a bodysuit. It looks like that's just him.
Yeah, it looks in the animation. It looks like he's
and
naked.
because he has that fucking weird mane. Every time I see that, my mind goes to Kraven is pissed. He wants that back. He will hunt you.
I'm gonna give him a fail as well. Even though I know this comes from the comics,
Yeah.
it is ridiculous, and I'm so glad they changed it.
Yes,
Yeah.
I've never liked this Sabertooth design.
Okay. Next, let's start the actual notes.
Okay.
In the prison, when the prison scene starts, Hank is reading Animal Farm.
Yeah, I did some research on that one.
Animal Farm is a story about this guy that has a farm, and the animals gain a type of sentient understanding.
Yep.
They gain intelligence, and they, kill the farmer or some shit like that. I don't remember exactly what's happening.
Let me put it to you this way. Animal Farm is actually about the Russian Revolution of 1917.
Yeah.
It's just in allegorical form. So the animals are basically they're rising up to revolt against Stalin, in which Stalinism actually promotes the escalation of class warfare. Guess what the Mutant Registration Act is?
That's a lot
You're
of thought.
poor. Fuck you.
That's a lot of thought to be put into a little Saturday morning cartoon show.
Yeah.
He's reading Animal Farm. I had to put that in my notes. I thought that was very significant
And yet
of
the
everything he
prisoners
could
are
have
like-
read.
And then the guards are like, "Oh, look, he can't read. You looking at the fucking pictures?"
That's because the people that have it good, the people that are in the proper state, that have the power, that are the pampered, that live easier, they often do not take time to look around themselves and realize that someone on the outside is more intelligent and will someday be taking your place. A lot of uprisings happen because the ones in power are blind to the fact that they have the power.
Right.
And they
have
don't-
power. You have nothing. You can't get me.
So they're not paying
Until
attention to
somebody
you.
who can get them gets to them.
And most of the idea, it could even be a stab at the way people today, we live in the age of information, and yet we use our phones to argue with random people on the internet instead of educating ourselves.
When not looking at porn.
And so that could be a statement in that idea too. Not that they knew exactly what they were saying, but Beast is an educated, intelligent individual that sees the irony of his situation and reads Animal Farm. The other guys are like, oh, he's looking at a picture book.
Because he looks like an animal, he must just be looking at his relative.
Yeah, they can't wait to
See any
just
of
slam
your
him.
relatives in there, boy?
Oh my
Yeah.
god!
Yeah.
I didn't put it in my notes, but because I didn't need it. That fucking voice acting. Oh my god!
the
Shut up!
guards.
Oh, yeah.
Shut
Holy
up!
shit, the guards.
That was some terrible voice acting.
Okay.
What's going on? Hey, you stay here. Oh man, come on.
Just because they're guards, they need that redneck fucking southern fucking shit going on.
All right,
yeah,
well,
I know.
That means those mofos need to get killed.
Now here's this.
Oh, you're going first. Okay.
How much of a hard ass does Hank really think Wolverine is?
Yeah, that was my next
Yes,
question.
I didn't put it down.
You hear boom, and all of a sudden, damn it, Wolverine.
There are walls exploding, lights blowing out, guns firing everywhere, tanks rolling down.
This has been a recurring thing when I was listening to the first episode, and I do have notes for later with the same issue that they're X-Men.
Yeah.
They're a team.
Yeah.
They've been with each other for a while. Wolverine's powers are not boom.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Why is it you don't know your fellow friend's fucking powers?
He says
he's got claws.
Oh, Wolverine.
Dude, even I knew that wasn't Wolverine.
Yeah.
Because the lights are exploding. I'm like,
And
did
the
Wolverine
rings,
throw a grenade?
The rings that were being
Yeah,
shot.
because I got confused because you see
now
the
he
rings
can't
and it's
see
like,
that. He can't see that, but he hears explosions, walls crumbling, glass shattering. Like, did he think that there was like a hardcore rampaging Wolverine? Like, how hardcore does he think Wolverine
did Wolverine
is?
get drunk again?
Berserker Barrage!
I guess.
Even that
Hardcore.
is not booms.
Yeah.
I mean, he should have been like, well, he was probably thinking that Wolverine was leading this charge, but you had to think, well, he must have Cyclops with him because there are explosions.
Yeah. But as soon as you hear the explosions, you're like, damn it, Cyclops.
Exactly.
You don't need to be that hard.
So we have two notes here. One, Magneto is not aware of the X-Men.
No, because...
I found that to be confusing.
When he got in there, well, okay, but we are given a little bit of a backstory, which we'll get to as we go through our notes.
Yeah.
Magneto, when he gets there, Hank knows who Magneto is.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
Magneto
is unaware of the existence of the X-Men. He is shocked when
he says that Xavier, he's like, Xavier?
Yeah, he's like, wait, what?
You're working with Xavier?
He's like, Xavier had you break in to the Mutant Control Agency, and then on top of that, he would leave you here to rot in prison, when obviously he has the power to take you out of here.
And then he's like, no, this is for my trial, is to show people that we're willing to follow the rules.
Now, here's the thing, too, and I hate to do this, but let's be honest here. Why didn't Xavier just go to the trial? And this is unethical, but maybe in the long run, ethical.
A mind wipe or whatever.
All he has to do is say, you think that he's innocent. And the judge will be like, I'm going to dismiss this. Bam! I do see an actual problem with what's going on here. And then, because Beast wins that court case, the papers would resonate out, and then change would start happening that mutants say, oh, one of us actually won a fair trial, like there's hope, we're looking into the future. He didn't do that. He was just like, eh.
Well, I guess the reason why Professor doesn't do that is because if he did that, he'd have Scott on his ass. Because Scott's this...
Maybe,
but Scott might be fine with positive change. He wasn't okay with the idea. He wasn't okay with the idea that they were about to go be terrorists.
But to get the positive results, it has something to do with Professor fucking using his powers on people's minds. That's unethical, and I think Scott would have a problem with that.
But is the outcome ethical?
I think that if you want a real outcome, not an artificial outcome.
But would you not create a real outcome for the first?
Actually, this kind of happens in the movies too.
The first artificial result would get people talking enough that the debate might rise into real results.
Okay, you want to know why they didn't do it? Because they need storylines. Otherwise, the show would have not been long.
No, it's just a debate. That's the way X-Men is good for this kind of stuff. It deals with these kind of things.
Yep.
But
I've got one.
Yeah.
Since we're still in the prison part, it might be something that I just don't know. Maybe it's because they had to show it because of the animation. But what's Magneto's powers?
Magnets.
How do those work?
Tism.
Yep.
Okay, so he uses it so he can, pick up metal objects, he can, crush metal objects, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
When he was taking off the shackles of Beast, why did he shoot a laser beam?
Magnetism?
No.
Yeah.
That's my first note. I was listening because
you could see it.
And I thought
it's just like in Dragon Ball Z. The only reason that they shoot beams is because he needed a way for you to understand that they were shooting beams.
I was thinking that. I was thinking that when I wrote my note down. But I'm thinking, wait a minute, you can't just show the shackle shaking. and then
No.
just falling off.
No, it's just like Dragon Ball Z. They couldn't just show a bunch of wind and energy without it being flashy and interesting.
If it went the wrong way, it would have maybe the pieces would have went into Beast's ankles.
Well, no, he's talking about the fact that there's an effect.
He
for
literally
laser in
shot
the
a
first
laser
place.
out of his hand to take the shackles off.
Yeah, kind of like when he starts throwing when you first see
when he uses his powers, and you see those circles.
Yeah,
those rings that he's shooting at. No, that I didn't write down because I'm sitting there thinking.
To be fair, I've always had a problem with Magneto's powers, and this isn't just it's in the comic books as well. His powers are weird because they're like he has the power of magnetism. No, there's more to it. There has to be.
There's
because
a lot more than just magnetism.
He can fly. He can fly. He can create force fields.
Let's talk about flying.
The force fields can even break. They can if a guy shoots a laser. Like Cyclops will be like brown and it can't hit him.
Yeah.
Now in the first book,
there goes that one.
the very first book ever, Magneto uses his power to create this big force field that blocks off an entire military base. And if I had to guess, I'd say he doesn't just have power over magnetism, but also what magnetism is in general. I think he can form electromagnetic high gravity density fields, high gravity density fields by manipulating the magnetism around him.
Which is why maybe Storm's lightning didn't really do that much to him. So
right.
Let's take
that I have a problem with too, but we'll get there.
That's a little bit later in the episode. Let's take that one off my list because you answered my question because I asked when the military was shooting bullets, but they were lasers.
So before we go any further, Magneto says that because he says you don't understand. He's like, look, they just fear us because they don't understand. And Magneto says, no, they do understand. Our powers make us superior, and that is what they are afraid of. They see us as weapons, not people. And they wish to annihilate us. They wish to run over us. They wish to delete us from the fabric of this world so that they can keep their position, so they can stay superior. Now, I have a question. Is he right in saying these humans, they need to be crushed? I have the power to do it. Is he right to fight back in a violent way?
I think yes to a point.
I agree with you on the sense that he's right. And when Beast was saying they don't understand us, Beast, you're wrong. That's just wishful thinking. Magneto's right on this part. Magneto's 100% right. They know all about us. You don't have powers and you're jealous. That's what it comes down to.
What if it's not? But not just jealousy. It is kind of scary to think.
It is scary.
I send my kid to second grade, and there's another kid in the
Who
grade
can fire lasers out of
who's nitro. Her power is to explode.
You go to that school and get Gwen out of there. First off,
right.
But
then, what do I do for that kid? Does that kid go to some laboratory, or does he go to a special school, or because then we're dealing with segregation? It's a tough issue because quite frankly, this is extreme. But this kid's power is to explode like a grenade.
Yeah,
it's what caused the Civil War, wasn't it?
Yeah,
when Nitro exploded in a suburban neighborhood.
Yeah. Because that dude thought he was going to make a name for himself on his television reality show, and he bucked him into a bus and gave his little superhero line and said, "Ha-ha, now give up." And he says, "I don't think you understand. You're playing with the big boys today." And he blew himself up and took out the entire suburban neighborhood.
Yep. Along with the heroes, who were basically just superpowered humans.
Yeah, they were just guys doing a reality show.
Nitro walks away because that's his powers to blow up.
It's his powers to blow up.
That's why in that fucking First Class movie, when that dude Shaw had he basically had Nitro's power. I was like, you're not.
Shaw's power is he could take damage or energy that is directed at his person, and then he can redirect it or remanipulate it to do whatever he wants it to do.
But he can make himself explode.
He's really hard to beat. Really hard to beat. Yeah. If Colossus punches him in the face, dead center nose, as hard as he can, he'll do no damage whatsoever. That energy just goes into him, and then he'll punch Colossus with the same force. Any direct action put towards Sebastian Shaw just becomes his power.
He's got to be one of the most broken mutants, and
he's difficult to beat.
Yeah.
A lot of times it takes, like a martial artist will beat him. Because a martial artist won't, like, try to kick him in the stomach or anything. They'll whip him around everywhere.
Yep.
Like, pull a rug out from under his legs and he'll fall on his back and then run up and, like, flip him over your shoulder. And he can't take that energy. It's not energy directed at him. It's his own energy going across him. It's physics. He'll be like, oh, shit, hip toss, and fall on the floor. He can't use that.
Right.
Or they'll hit his ass with some knockout juice, because that's not energy. That's just go to sleep. Like,
that's the reason he can set a grenade off in his hands and then take that energy into himself and do whatever he wants.
I just assumed that he was, because when I seen it, I was like, what are you, Nitro, dude?
Yeah, he's real tough to beat. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, when they first go against the Hellfire Club, the way they took him out was they destroyed the floor he was standing on, and he fell like 2 floors down into a table.
No, that could beat him.
And he was like, ow.
It's like, oh, God, I'm not getting up. Not for a minute.
He's like, hey, absorb that, bitch.
I am the table.
Yeah.
We're still in the prison, aren't we?
We are on the prison.
Technically speaking, yes.
If we're done with was Magneto right, and how far would you follow Magneto in a cause that you're mutants, and he's willing to fight the front lines with you? Do you fight the front lines with Magneto, or do you partner with Xavier and try this, protect people that hate you, and maybe they'll love you?
This is tough.
Yeah.
Because I truly believe that Magneto is right about certain things, and I would want to follow him because he is right. They know all about us, and it is about fear. They want to kill us because they're afraid of us. But I was born this way.
Right.
I can't control what I am. All I can do is learn to control my abilities and live amongst the rest of you. Yeah. But they want to fucking put me in a concentration camp because I'm different. On that case, I would follow Magneto because he is right. But how far would I go to kill innocent people who are just afraid of me? That's different. I think I could follow Magneto for a while until until the shit got out of hand.
Right.
And I think I would have to go with Xavier.
Yeah,
but for a while, I would follow Magneto, yes.
Yeah, because it's one of those things where, if, military's pointing tanks in my face,
I'm
driving up to my home, we're going to blow you up.
I have the right
to... Okay, you get to go bye-bye now.
I have the right to defend myself.
Yeah.
So here's the reason I bring this question up. This is the exact essence of what makes X-Men, when you read it, interesting, because the good guys become bad guys and the bad guys become good guys all the time. Colossus turned and went with the other guys for a while because he was like, look, this ain't never going to stop. Yep. And he became a quote-unquote bad guy. Rogue started
in the Brotherhood
and moved over. And this happens constantly. They go back and forth all the time. Emma was part of the Hellfire Club
before she joined Xavier.
And then later on, she was an X-Man. Mm-hmm. And now she's back to being a bitch.
This is so different because it's not black and white anymore.
It's not.
Because is Magneto a bad guy?
It is and it isn't.
But they walk a fine line even in the animation.
Is Magneto a bad guy? No. His methods make him a bad guy, but his reasoning.
But from what viewpoint?
Yeah.
That's where it comes from. There are people that are looking at what he's doing and saying, "Thank God."
Yeah. Yes.
See, you're a mutant. You know what your mutant power is?
What's my mutant power?
You're hairy.
Oh God, I got fucked. I got screwed.
People hate and fear you and beat you with beer bottles in the alleyway. Now there's this guy that hears about an imprisoned mutant, wrongfully imprisoned, and he flies down and tears the prison open, kills prison guards, destroys tanks, and walks him out the front door like, from now on, my people will not be ridiculed, they will not be hunted, they will not be harmed, leave hairy guy alone.
And then at that point, I would have no choice. I would follow Magneto.
Now, he's your hero.
He is my hero.
But then you can look at it from the other side, and that's what makes X-Men interesting, is picking a side is not...
It's not. Xavier is always right, good guy. Magneto is always wrong, bad guy.
Right.
Yeah.
Magneto has good points, but so does Xavier.
Yeah.
They both want to... In the end, Magneto wants a safe, peaceful world for his people.
So does Xavier.
Yeah, and so does Xavier. But Magneto will cross that fucking line to get peace. Yeah. He will kill every human being there can, and the Earth has only got mutants.
Yeah,
if he has to.
And he sees now. Here's one thing though. Magneto is under this impression that there's no communication left. That he's waited his entire life for a result. It hasn't happened. It's time for war. There's only one thing these people understand, and by God, he's going to make them understand it real fast.
To Magneto, it's death.
Yeah.
Magneto has always been to me has always been an interesting character because I truly believe in his cause. At the same time, I think he crosses the line too much.
There are times he's written as too hardcore of a bad guy, and he loses that idea that makes him good. But let me just go ahead and say...
But at the same time, that's because X-Men is basically, the old race relations thing.
Yep.
Fucking the black-white thing. The
That's not really
men,
old.
women
That's still
thing,
going on.
It's still going on.
That's
today.
still going. So
Just pick another color.
So,
So
here's two notes.
Go ahead.
One, Magneto killed those guys in the helicopter.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it.
I just wanted to bring that up, that animation piece right there, nobody came out of that helicopter, nobody parachuted away. He zapped it, it crashed into the building and exploded, dead people.
Yeah, that was literally my next point, too. The first tank, they GTFO, and he turns that fucking giant tank into, like...
a ball.
Maybe about the size of a fucking soda can with soda in it? The other one, he takes it apart piece by piece and just drops it. So dude's literally stuck there holding a joystick, and he's sitting in his chair going, ah!
Yeah, because he's sitting there and he's like...
The choppers come flying, and he goes, into the building.
Yeah, and nobody comes out of the chopper. That guy's dead as shit.
You just took apart that tank. I'm pretty sure you could take apart that chopper.
Here's the reason I bring that up. He kills those guys in the chopper. First off, that's crazy that they... it's funny how things will not be able... Like we're going to get to this Sabertooth fight, and we're going to talk about how censored that was, but then Magneto can kill people right there in plain view.
Yep.
So, here's the thing. What the hell prison are they at that needs this kind of, this prison has tanks, helicopters,
I guess somewhere
like
in
military
it's the
personnel.
Alcatraz for mutants.
Like, this is a
hardcore.
hardcore.
So
it's hardcore prison.
Well, think about it. Prisons that we have here around here, they're just keeping humans, regular guys, dangerous people, but nothing that the guards can't handle.
Okay, but no, this prison is just keeping regular guys too. You could tell because Magneto only showed up to save one guy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So they put Beast in just a normal prison.
Yeah.
Surrounded by tanks and shit.
Technically, they put him in a Supermax, but it is still just one prison.
A Supermax prison that's...
Tanks,
maybe
helicopters, attack helicopters.
Maybe because Beast is a mutant,
they added more
added more security.
That could be. That could very well be.
It's a possibility.
Because they weren't...
They're afraid that his friends are going to come and get him out.
Not only that, but they were worried about civilians trying to come in and kill him too.
So are we ready for the... ready for the...
The next one I have on my list? Yes.
Because are we done with the prison?
I'm done with the prison. I didn't have very many.
Okay, so let's talk about the flashback.
Yes. I need to talk about the flashback.
Magneto and Xavier are doctors in this universe.
Wait, hold on. Who?
Wait. I thought
Magneto
we were
and Xavier
next.
Yes.
Eric.
No.
Magnus.
His name is Magnus, and
which is one of his aliases.
Yeah, it's one of his aliases.
Okay. God damn it, because I put down didn't know Magneto's name was Magnus. I thought it was Eric.
It is. Technically, the name is Eric, but he also goes by Magnus. Shit. He's got like 7 other aliases. I want to say like one's like Supreme Lord Magneto or some shit.
Okay, that one's just awesome.
Yeah, but like quite literally, he has like several different aliases.
Okay, well that's untaken.
So they were doctors in this universe.
Yes, they were. And now I have a question. I know what Professor X's mutant power is.
Yeah.
How can he heal people?
Sometimes what we think is wrong with us is mental.
Yeah.
It's the reason they give you placebos.
Yep.
And sometimes the very thought that you are being healed, the very hope that you are being healed will allow your body to do so. So he just gives hope.
Yep.
I didn't say that at the beginning of my notes were going to be great because they suck right now. But they get better. I promise.
Well, of course they do.
I promise they get better.
That's because the start of this is a little bit slow. It's a lot of back and forth dialogue.
But the next one I have, I'm gonna argue with it. I'm gonna argue it hard.
Magneto in this reality, he was not a Holocaust survivor.
Yep.
Well, when they
he was not a Holocaust
survivor.
survivor.
From a war, though.
He was a child from a war-torn
He was in a war-torn village.
Yeah, like war-torn nation.
In which we'll get to more of that later.
For
yes.
the Holocaust one.
Yep, but this, they specifically... Because, look, some of the stuff they talk about in this show, they could have said he was... They could have said he was a Holocaust survivor.
I don't think, but they said 90s.
Well, they could have said They could have said he was a World War II survivor. They could have said many things. He's not. Just remnants from the country that hurt his people or whatever.
What country is he from?
Yes.
What is he? What is he?
Now,
is he
are
Polish?
from the comics or talking about from the series?
I think he's Jewish.
I would assume he's Jewish if he's part of the Holocaust.
Yeah, but not only Jews were taken there.
Correct.
That's always that's a misconception.
They put anybody that fucking disagreed with you.
But I believe
even if you were a sympathizer, you got sent.
I believe he was, without a doubt, he was Jewish.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I thought he was Polish. I don't know why.
No, I don't.
I just thought he was.
I think he might be half. I think he might be half Jewish and half something else.
I just
if memory serves, his last name is like Russian or something.
Eric
Lenscher, something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Hold on, keep going.
I prefer this one because Wolverine meets him.
But this is this Magneto.
This
Magneto is just part of a war-torn nation.
Okay, and he's a doctor in this universe.
And then he was a doctor.
Quick question. I'll give you I'll give you the fact that Xavier's powers, he can make you like feel better.
Magnetism. I don't understand it because I'm not a doctor, but people swear by that shit.
Especially the rocks on a cave, bringing them down. That doesn't exactly sound like a...
Oh, no, I thought he was still talking about the doctor part.
It's because of their... Okay, they were obviously using their mutant powers.
Magnets, they will do weird stuff like that, where they have you wear like a bracelet that's a magnet.
But then again, some people do have like a metal in them, like iron and stuff, so that might help too.
Well, they... I just didn't understand, because like his powers just seem kind of like an offensive fuck you in the face.
No, he can do anything that's related to magnetism.
Ooh, like a metal plate.
Like, does it make any sense whatsoever that he was able to shoot magnetic beams and topple those rocks? Maybe. Because if you have even the slightest bit of metal within that rock formation and he could pull it down...
There are a few...
Because there's metal all around us, everywhere, and we just don't know it. And if there's so much as magnetic dust somewhere, he could use it.
There was a lot of that going on where he was blasting walls and stuff, and I'm sitting here thinking, if there's no metal in that wall,
because all it would take with the concrete barriers at the prison is if they put those bars down through the concrete, he rips the bars out, the walls explode.
Now, a brick wall. I didn't write it down because I didn't need to.
Okay, how's he destroy the brick wall?
Can't talk about it next episode.
Here's how he destroys the brick wall. There's metal all around him. No. Yeah, I'm serious. It doesn't make sense, and we don't get to see it.
No, I understand.
But all he has to do is pull dust off the fabric of the metal that's surrounding him in that warehouse of chemicals, as if he was in Caterpillar. He would have plenty to use, and he just shoots those dust particles through the wall in very certain points, almost like he's shooting a gun.
By the way, it's also a supermax prison, so usually they...
No, he's talking way later. He skipped us way ahead.
I didn't mean to, because when he was talking about...
Because I was talking about how ridiculous his powers are and how they kind of have...
Because he can shoot rocks and make rocks fall and...
They kind of have explanation. It's rough, but basically, if there's magnetic dust, he can use them like projectiles. In fact, you even see it in the movie. She gave him a needle of iron, and he escaped the prison.
Yeah, because she shot that dude up.
And that's all he needs.
Well, yeah, his powers... He's a Class 4 mutant, after all.
He's crazy broken.
Because he's a Class 4 mutant.
Technically, it depends on which book you're pulling from. Because if you're pulling from, like, standard, like 616, he's damn near Omega. If he wanted to, he can lift all of the United States up and drop it.
He lifted up the city.
Yeah, he lifted basically a city into space.
Not even Superman can do that.
Shut up. He can't do it. I think
So
he
can.
could.
So can.
He could, but it would take him a little bit longer than Magneto.
I don't know
And
why
he
I
had to
said.
have-
I don't.
he
To be
had
honest
to
with
be
you guys, I don't know
really
why I
fucked up.
said that.
Yeah.
I watched Superman pull a planet.
During this flashback, they claim that Magneto gathered all kinds of followers.
Where they at?
The fuck are they?
Where are these followers at?
Where are these followers at?
Because if you were so popular when you were breaking out Beast, why'd you go solo?
He's solo the whole time.
He's
Yeah.
Sabertooth.
He has a follower.
He has one follower,
We see one follower on this.
and I am
One follower who's not even a normal standard member of the Brotherhood.
no. And I'm sitting there thinking, he's like, I have all these followers. Well, there's one.
There's one.
I know, man.
Congratulations.
Okay.
No wonder you started freaking out when you were like, Xavier has the X-Men?
Wait a minute.
In
so,
the back of his
shit,
mind,
did you?
shit, I need more followers.
Shit, I don't have anybody anymore.
He started this episode solo, and then he had to bring his Chewie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all he's got.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but to me that reminded me of fucking Han and Chewie, because look at fucking Sabertooth, and he's going solo.
Yeah.
He's going solo this entire episode, fighting the X-Men solo.
Okay, are we on to the court case?
Yes,
Yep.
yes. Like, I do have. Wait a minute.
I
took my notes in order. I think.
Actually, I do want to throw out something. At the very end of the flashback, they show that Magneto's helmet cannot stop the psychic power from Xavier.
Yep, yeah, I can't do it. Not in this series.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what that was the one I put down. I think because I remember he wears that helmet for a reason.
Not in this series.
Yeah, not in this one.
And in the
apparently.
original comic books, that helmet did nothing for him either.
'Cause I know
I
that
think
he
it
wore-
does nowadays.
It
but-
does now because it protects him from not only Professor Xavier's mind, but Cerebro. When Professor cannot find Magneto if he's wearing that helmet.
Yeah, also, Cerebro in this continuity, though, it can't detect anybody until they've used their powers.
Yep.
So if Magneto's just sitting at home drinking a tea, you can't find him.
As long as he's got the helmet on.
No, you
No,
can't
no,
find him.
regardless.
No,
Oh.
the helmet.
Cerebro
If you're not
detects
doing
mutant
shit, you can't do
activity.
nothing.
If you're sleeping and your power is not activated, if he's like, Professor, we got to find Magneto.
If my
Shit.
if my mutant power is I could unhook my jaw, drop it down to like my waist, fit as much food as I wanted, and close it like I'm a fucking snake. If I'm just sitting at home, just kind of kicked back and watching TV, nada. If I'm
can't
sound
find me.
asleep, nada. It's not till I go to eat and I'm like, I'm hungry. Pizza, closed jaw. Okay,
So
I'm
it's
not
while you're-
hungry.
While your
And
power's
then,
going out.
and then Professor's like, I
Yes.
found a mutant.
Never mind.
Never mind.
I don't think we need that power.
Sorry, that will not save us.
Oh, you'd be amazed.
But yes, he put that.
Oh
one.
crap! Here comes Sabertooth. Hold on.
So in the
Home-
court case, the Beast's lawyer knows it's a racist trial and even calls the judge out on it.
Yes,
Yeah.
and guess what the judge says? This is not. This, they're not. This is not a prejudiced fucking thing. And I'm sitting there the whole time like, yes, it fucking is.
Yes, it is.
Oh my God!
Look at the people behind Beast.
It's
You
not just, the judge is racist.
You literally are saying that there is no discrimination in this fucking courtroom, but there is discrimination. He's a blue fuzzy man.
Oh wow.
There is nothing but racism going on.
Sorry, our disembodied voice dropped the stats. So apparently, Comics TAS beat out Sentai by 132.
Yes,
Okay.
Nice.
Okay, yeah, I already said that it's, without a doubt, it's a racist trial, and
Now,
it
Yep.
says, talk about the court case and how, okay, my next thing here is to talk about the court case and how well it was actually acted. For a Saturday morning cartoon, I was impressed with the guy that screams out in the back, and they walk him out, and he's like, my brother was one of those men, and, like, the fact
Bailiff,
that...
hold him in contempt. Get him
Yeah,
out of here.
it was done really well.
Yeah.
Like, unlike the guards at the start of this, there were good voice actors for this part.
they were because it was something serious.
Yeah.
That was supposed to be a complete joke,
Right.
but this was something serious. You know, racism, discrimination, that stuff, kind of stuff. This is a serious matter. It's not to be taken lightly. Yes, he is a blue fuzzy man. Yes, he wouldn't harm a fly. To be fair,
Oh, I also have to call bullshit on one thing that Beast said.
when he
I understand what he's trying to do, but if you prick us, do we not bleed? I'm Colossus.
in human form.
Yes. If he drops the medal, yes.
Now, Bill,
Just saying, not all of us.
Yeah.
all of us. Well, when some of us when we use our
Oh,
power,
and Wolverine. You prick him, he heals too fast to bleed.
They don't know that.
Not
So
entirely.
No, he does. If you gave him a shot and you took the needle out, the needle hole would be closed before he had a
Immediately.
chance to bleed.
yeah, he heals really quick.
Because remember later in the next episode,
you-
we see Red.
We will get there
Yeah,
because
we'll
I
talk
have
about
problems.
We'll get there when we get there.
I have one note
Yeah.
for the courthouse. It's nothing serious. Who brings? Why they let him bring tomatoes in to throw at Beast?
I was
saw
more wondering how nobody realized that Sabertooth was sitting in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, how
That's
did
the
he,
more important question.
Uh,
Because there's Cyclops
trench
and
coat.
Wolverine sitting way in the back.
in
Oh,
normal attire, normal
Trench coat
attire.
and hat.
Oh,
Trench coat
yep,
and
I
You
hat.
forgot.
do realize that
Ninja
is the
Turtles
ultimate
logic.
disguise.
Ninja
Yep.
Turtles logic.
Yep. Okay, never
He
mind.
was in the back with his trench coat and his hat on,
And the guy, and to be fair, he has no pupils.
literally
he's
standing
like-
like 7'8".
And when you he's like, hey, random normal person, how do you think about this case? Get away. That's a deep voice you got, normal guy just like me. What's that?
That's my fur coat.
Oh, it looks like it's attached to you.
Go away. If you don't
Isn't
get
it
away
the
from me
middle-
right now, I'm going to crush your fucking...
Isn't it the middle of July? Shut up.
It is hot
I'm
as balls.
cold.
It's hot as balls, dude. You might want to take that off. I'm fine. Get away from me, human.
I'm anemic.
I'm anemic. It's terrible. It's terrible.
Now let's talk about the when Sabertooth finally fucking
Okay, hold on.
shows up.
I want to drop this real quick.
Go ahead.
Wolverine awesome quotes time.
Yep.
I'll show-
Wolverine, he's dead. Not dead enough.
Nope. I'll show him a danger to the community.
Oh, yeah.
Hold on. He says, they're going to kill him. Good. Good. How come we're supposed to trash your old enemy, but we got to go easy on mine? I don't know what corner you crawled out of, bub, but we don't find nuclear missiles all that liberating.
Yeah.
Thought I would do a Wolverine drop because he's the most quotable thing in these 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Well, I agree because but then okay, if you're a kid, never seen the show in your life, they don't really go into the backstory quite yet. So you're sitting there wondering when Wolverine's like good, you're like, why do you hate him? You have no reason to hate him. There's no backstory yet.
Which
Not
is
yet.
fine.
Just wait.
I know the backstory, but it's just that for the first time ever seeing this, you're thinking to yourself, "Damn, dude, you're a little harsh."
Yeah, I was about to say. it's
I'm
hard for
sorry,
you
I
to
was
speak
cleaning.
when you're trying to
I was
clean
cleaning
your
my glasses.
So my last thing on the court case is Wolverine was going to kill or maim or hurt whoever was in his way to just guarantee that Beast walked free because the trial was a sham and he was like, all right, fine, there's no rules. And he took them claws out and said, I'll show him a danger to the community. Cyclops says no, and he says, get out of my way. Now, honestly, if Cyclops would have stepped aside and Sabertooth wouldn't have taken his coat off, Wolverine would have cut through members of the jury.
Well, here's my thing.
Look,
Wolverine has to be part of a team, whether it's Xavier or the Brotherhood. He has to be part of
or
a team.
the X-Force,
Or,
or the Avengers,
Alpha Flight.
or, yeah.
Because if he's by himself, he will kill people. He has to be
Grounded.
controlled in a
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
And I hate the fact that Cyclops
Now-
can calm him down because, dude, you've already punched this dude in the stomach one time.
Here's the thing, though. Realistically, in that setting, Wolverine's not completely dumb. He's proud and he's powerful and he's cocky. But let's be honest. If I stand up and tell you to calm down, and you decide that you're going to come at me, I'm not wearing my visor.
I'm just going to take my shades off and just hold my eyes open.
Right.
Now, you'll heal from it. I'm going to have to do a lot to fucking do shit to you because you heal fast. But the concussive force of my blast, and somehow you like to...
Might knock you out for a bit.
It
Now,
will.
They shoot Sabertooth like fucking 6 times, and Scott's like, all right, this is over. Bromp, 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 bromp. We're leaving.
Here's the real question. How did Wolverine get into the courthouse? Because even in the 90s, they had metal detectors.
Okay.
That shit didn't become...
Because
That shit
he
started
took all the
becoming more and more
he
standard
took all the
as
stuff.
dumbasses were blowing
He took all the
themselves up
stuff
in
out of his
airports.
pockets He took all the stuff out of his pockets, and when he walked through, he beeped and he said, "Sorry, metal boots."
No.
I had to go pay a ticket.
No,
I said, "Yeah,
that's
I've got
today.
steel toe."
That's today.
I got a better one.
I do remember a time when literally they would say, I've gone through even the airport years ago where I would walk through, I would beep, I had that metal in my arm, and they would say, "Oh, you beeped," and I'd say, "I have a metal bone and I have steel toes," and they would take that wand, and they didn't do the whole me. They scanned my arm, it beeped, and they said, "All right."
Wolverine.
And they let me through.
Wolverine.
It's ridiculous,
Yeah.
and it wouldn't work today.
Yeah, exactly. It wouldn't work today because, trust me, I had to go pay a fucking parking ticket. I left my steel toes on. They said, "Yeah, you beeped," and I said, "Yeah, I got steel toes." They said, "Okay," and they wanded.
Take them out, walk back through.
No. They said, "Okay, pull up your pant legs." Okay, here you go. Here's the top of my boots. They said, "Okay," and they wandered from my feet all the way up to my dick, all the way around, down my ass, all the way down.
And this time they would be like, "Wee!" What the
Well, here's the
shit?
thing, though.
Yeah.
On his entire
Here's the thing,
person?
though. Here's the thing, though. Wolverine can get away with that if he walked through and he beeped, and he takes everything out and he walks through again. He's like, "Sir, you're beeped again." He's like, "Metal disc in my back."
Who said he didn't walk through and beep, and the guard just went,
That fucking hair, dude.
"Nope,
No. Because for the amount of metal that would have...
no, Xavier.
Oh, yeah, true.
Xavier just needs to make it so the guard never heard nothing." And Wolverine walks right
Will
through
he
to go to the
have
court
that
case.
stupid look on his face?
Yes.
That stupid herp derp just...
No. But Xavier wouldn't have been there because he wasn't at the case. Because
He's everywhere.
Yeah,
If he
he's
was-
everywhere
if he
because
was
he
at
has
the case-
Cerebro on.
If he's at the
Because
case, he would have wiped the judge's mind. It's like, "Oh yeah,
No,
you're innocent."
but he wouldn't have. We talked about that.
Yep.
Xavier wouldn't have.
Yeah.
Xavier could do it, but morality.
But he won't.
If Xavier saw who was who was behind Beast and all this ruckus, he would be like,
Sabertooth
No.
is different because I don't.
See, here's the thing.
If Sabertooth.
Xavier could do that, and he could see that it was a racist trial, but Xavier would just appeal.
Yeah.
He
They're
wants
just
it-
going to appeal. That's all they're going to do because Xavier believes
It's a win.
that if we do this, if we can actually get through to people and get the fair trial, it's going to make big differences. And he's not willing to manipulate that setting.
Because
That's otherwise, why is Beast there in the first place? Xavier could have put Cerebro on and said, "Beast won the trial," and then went and got him the very first day he went to prison.
Yeah.
yeah, but with the setting of the trial itself, it's like maybe
Shit,
you
at
should
that
have.
point, Xavier could
But
have
he
fucking
won't.
mind-wiped 6 people who were already on the base.
They
and said,
want-
blow up the building.
There's
say
a-
it was terrorists.
He can, but he won't.
It's a-
That's a big problem
Yeah.
with Xavier. Xavier won't cross certain lines unless you're talking about the comic books.
Yeah, 'cause in the no, you laugh in the comic books. Xavier don't give a fuck.
He's wild. In the comic books, Xavier's basically a villain.
Yeah.
But it has a stronger impact if this is done right, and a fair trial is said, and Beast would have won it.
And-
It's a stronger impact.
And speaking of don't give a fuck, are we done with the trial? Because I want to get to my next point because it's great.
We are done with the trial.
Okay, so then my next point is Magneto decides it's time to launch some nukes at a military base. Now, Storm...
Oh, well, before we go there, they went home and
with Sabertooth.
Xavier
yeah.
completely ignores Wolverine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A small mind scan could have said, "Oh shit, he really does think this is a problem."
Yeah. That's what I'm wondering about. It's
Before-
like, why didn't Xavier try that?
He won't.
Because I have one more note.
He often says it. Sometimes it's BS and sometimes it's not. But Xavier will often say, "We don't read people's mind without their permission."
Yeah.
I have
Unless they're unconscious and can't give
But he
them
has
permission.
no problem telling Wolverine, bullshit.
I have one more note, and it doesn't have to. I mean, it's something that I don't remember you guys covering in the first episode because I listened to it, and if you did cover it, I must not have heard. Scott. It's all about Scott now. Why is
and his 8-pack?
no? Why is it that when he talks, his eyes glow all the time? The visor. You ever noticed that when he talks, it'll be like, shh, it'll glow.
Because it's cool.
Okay, okay. I didn't know if that was it or if he was just like getting ready to fucking fire it.
It's cool.
'Cause he'll be like,
It's basically it's like for emphasis. You know how some people when they get really mad, like they narrow their eyes
Yeah.
when they talk and furrow their
It
eyebrows.
could be that he's doing
It's
that
more
and
for
it's
emphasis.
glaring against.
Yeah,
since we can't see his eye.
Yep.
yeah.
Like I said, my notes aren't the greatest, but you know what?
it's fine.
I needed to know because that happens a lot.
There's a
Yeah.
possibility there's some sort of explanation to that, yes.
Yeah.
Aside from that, where else? There I am. I also put, what is wrong with the healing factor in this show? It seems strangely weak. Look how close to death Sabertooth was. That was not an act.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was shot like 6 times, fell on the ground, was going to die.
And yet, Sabertooth is supposed to have Wolverine's same healing factor. Or
Which
similar.
seems to be turned down like a son of a bitch.
Yeah.
As convenience goes, because later on Wolverine will like fall into the Atlantic Ocean or like something like that and like literally float on an ice cube for like days and then be rescued by Eskimos and be fine the next day. Like, I heal fast.
Yeah.
And see, that's what I mean. So it's convenience of storyline depends
like
on whether or
Sabertooth
not.
conveniently appearing at the trial.
Yeah, convenience of storyline depends on how well the healing factor seems to work.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
he was very close to dead. He was like barely stabilizing and shit.
Yeah, which even then, like we even brought it up in the last episode. Wolverine has a healing factor. How the fuck do you guys not know this if you've been running around with him for a while? Wolverine's like, yeah, he's one of my old friends. He has the same shit as I do. Oh, so he has the healing factor? Well, fuck him. Get him out that bed. He'll be okay.
Right. But
Which
they
is
don't
something
seem
Wolverine
to know.
was doing. It's like, you don't know him like I do.
Yeah, exactly. You don't know him like I do. Oh, well, if
That should've
Wolverine
been
knows
a-
him.
that should've
That
been a-
should be an indication.
They
that
just
should've been a big
disregard
clue
him.
for Professor
No.
Xavier.
But they disregard him.
Yeah.
They look at Wolverine as being the asshole that talks shit, and who cares what he has to say? They really do. That's Xavier almost has a bias on Wolverine. He does not.
But
He's
with
like,
Wolverine
okay,
threatening
whatever.
to leave the Xavier school itself because of Sabertooth being there, that should have been another big red flag for Xavier.
Does Xavier care?
He should.
Xavier's dream comes first.
Yeah.
This is the narrow-sightedness of Xavier. Xavier believes that all mutants can be brothers, all mutants will one day fucking hold hands and sing tra-la-la, and that the humans will fucking skip along with us. And all we gotta do is show a bunch of love. And we're gonna get
bullshit.
there. We're gonna get there.
Yeah, that's not complete bullshit, but it's mostly bullshit.
And that's what separates the two men, is that Magneto is the other extreme. He's like, we've tried all this fucking huggy shit, and it's not working.
Here's the thing. Xavier does care. He does care, but his dream comes first, like Bill said.
Yeah.
If something were to escalate, he would step in.
Yeah, but in terms of ignoring Wolverine when Wolverine is right, that just comes down to, I'm not going to kick this guy out because I didn't kick you out.
And you were just as bad. Weren't you feral?
Yeah. You were a feral animalistic monster.
And I would not turn my back on you. I am not turning my back on him. If I can stop this and I can do the exact same thing I did for you,
I get a new X-Man.
Because I need one because Morph is dead.
Yeah.
That's
And
terrible.
and by the way,
we don't exactly need another Wolverine.
by the way,
though.
awesome funeral. By the way,
Yeah.
I like that funeral. Morph meant a lot.
What funeral?
So you're right. You're right. We are there now.
Oh, yeah.
Magneto goes for broke in day one to start his war. He decides nuclear liberation.
Yeah.
Yes, it is
Now-
effective.
Now, here's the part that I love.
What's up?
How does everybody get in? Because I'll tell you how they get in. Storm flies over the wall.
Correct.
Wolverine climbs the wall.
Correct.
Scott don't give a fuck about your wall. Boom!
Listen.
Make a hole.
And why doesn't Wolverine just run slightly behind Cyclops? And they're like, that's a lot of wasted energy.
Wolverine pops the claws, climbs up a
Since
concrete
his
wall,
endurance is
and Scott
retarded-
goes, Bromp, I'm
Here's the
walking
thing.
right through.
We're
It
about to
would've been funny if they
fight.
did
We
the
are
bump
about.
while Wolverine was climbing.
We're about to fight Magneto.
Because
Did we receive no warning whatsoever?
okay, I don't like Cyclops. There are times in this show where I'll be like, ha, a good one, Scott. I don't like you, but good one. The fact that because he can't fly, and his
Right.
jumping ability, don't matter if you're permaflex or not, he can't jump.
He is so permaflex. He's the most permaflex member of the team. I swear he is.
Him and Gambit are kind of, neck and neck
In the suit,
That's
Wolverine's
because Gambit's clothes, to be fair.
Rogue is permaflexed.
Rogue is an ideism. She's interesting because
Yeah.
Rogue plays on a lot of facets. We'll get to it. There's an episode that talks about why Rogue is drawn the way she is.
Yeah.
I have a slight note here for this. Wouldn't launching nukes also kill any mutants nearby?
Now, this was something I was going to say. He's
Yeah.
going to launch nuclear weapons
Listen,
at that city. Now, they even if they're aimed directly at that base, they're at that city. They're fucking nukes.
Yeah.
They're
It's in the area.
They're 3 nuclear warheads.
Yeah.
there is a reason.
There's one person that's going to live it, and only because he's done it before. Wolvie would be the only one to live. Everybody else, bye.
So
Wolverine might take a while to recover.
he would
though.
completely
I take
obliterate.
that back. Nitro might be the only other person to survive.
He would
that.
completely obliterate that
Radiation
city,
poisoning.
all of the mutants in that city, and
And
the humans. And here's one for you. Where was he going to go? He gave himself 3 minutes.
Are you kidding me? He has a bubble shield.
3 minutes.
Nothing works, and my bubble shield is impenetrable.
I don't know. I don't know
Shield.
if his bubble can resist nuclear.
I don't know.
I don't know.
If it can, yeah,
I didn't think
radiation.
I didn't think that his bubble shield could fucking stop lasers, but they bounce right.
Bubble shield do what it want to do.
Cyclops, who literally is one of the more powerful X-Men, was like bromp, and it was like whatever.
See, now the bubble shield, it can't talk, but if it could, it would say this: "I go where I want to go."
Right. It has Wolverine's ego.
Because Magneto, here's the part that is hard to follow him, is an extremist. He wants liberation by any means necessary. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. If I have to sacrifice some mutants to prove a point, so be it. So be it. And that's going to be the hard part, because if you're a mutant following Magneto, you're like, yeah, Magneto's the shit. That's a nuke. What are you doing? I'm a mutant.
You're gonna nuke our country, dude.
You're
Dude.
gonna kill me too.
Dude.
You must break some eggs to make an omelet. Well, fuck you too, Magneto. I'm joining these guys.
Okay, so here's a couple of the things I have here. One, what switch is in the control room that if you break it or scratch it with your claws,
Where's
it
the
cancels
switch?
the nuclear
Where's
launch?
the switch?
I thought Magneto was using it.
No,
using his
not
powers.
Magneto.
No. I know what you're talking about. But when Magneto showed up and he set the nukes for 3, I thought he was using his powers. So, like, even if they found the, because when they pulled the control box
Right.
out, it couldn't stop
Where's
it.
the friggin' switch?
That's because
Right.
Magneto was
But
making,
Wolverine is looking for a switch, Shane.
and he's breaking every goddamn thing he sees. Like, I'll find it. I'll find it.
What switch is installed in the nuclear launch site that if you scratch it or break it,
You didn't know?
No.
it cancels nuclear
You didn't
launch?
know that our actual nuclear bases that we have here in the United States actually have a kill switch. What it means is that if our nukes are accidentally launched or in the process of launching, the only way to stop it is by to scratch and or break the switch.
Scratch or break the switch.
No.
Yeah, that part I had on there. The other thing, he calls for a code red emergency. All troops abandon base. You have 30 seconds. 30 seconds.
30 seconds?
The launch starts at 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Then
they're
they have
still-
like a minute 30 left or something like that
because
when
they were
pull
trying
the
to
board.
disarm it.
Yeah.
And they're like, that doesn't work. Something's sustaining the circuit. So now you have like a minute and 15 seconds. I push the button. Everybody out of the base. Nuclear missiles. Everybody out of the base. Where the fuck?
I'm just going to sit here.
Where did everybody go? Because they cleared the shit out fast.
Yeah, they dropped their shit and ran. They were like,
but
done with this.
But realistically, you got a minute and 15 seconds.
If I had a minute and 15 seconds in a fucking car and I avoided all the, like if Bill's house is the epicenter for the nuclear attack, you know, I got a minute, I literally got 75 seconds. I'm going to jump in my car and you know what? Fuck lights, fuck you people, fuck everybody. How far can I get in 75 seconds? Well, depending on how big the nuclear bomb is that is being dropped on your house, the radius alone. I was actually watching a video online about this, which is interesting. It all depends on the nuclear the bomb itself. It could be a small nuke which only has a radius of maybe 3 miles,
Okay, are those 3 small nukes?
They were actually big nukes, so the radius did alone, because there's 3 of them, the radius triples. Because you go boom, boom, and then the radiation alone, well, it's 3 times as bad.
So where do you go in your minute and 15 seconds?
For me, because I can't get far enough away, I sit down.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Technically speaking, if you can't get far enough away, being at the epicenter is
You know what?
best,
No.
'cause you just... Nothing. However, if you're far enough away, there's a reason why in Fallout, whenever you see Vault Boy, he's always doing the thumbs up. Reason being is because if the mushroom cloud is not, like, if your thumb is bigger than the mushroom cloud, you're safe. You're not getting destroyed. You're good. If it's if it's bigger than your thumb, kiss your ass goodbye. Just reach down, put your head between your legs.
Run fast. You got 10 seconds.
Yeah, because you're done.
You got 10 seconds.
I think if I get just outside the radius, I'll survive. Here's the thing, though.
Don't get me wrong, though. I suppose those dumb motherfuckers were near the ocean. Jump in and start swimming.
You can dive underwater to stop but the radiation alone.
The radiation will get you, yeah.
So
but
the last,
I mean, you're not going to
but
get
no,
vaporized.
when you asked me what I would do, and I told you I'd sit, I lied. I would sit, but then I would be like, "Hey, X-Men, I'm sorry, you guys are my friends. Stop that.
Okay,
Stop that."
I have 2 more notes. One, Storm was going to kill herself.
Yep.
That's interesting to me. That on that cartoon they would have let her even attempt something like that. And 2, why does Cerebro know the computers of the nuclear missiles?
Yeah.
Cerebro knows everything.
Cerebro is
Beep, beep.
on.
Storm, answer me. No, Scott, I don't have time. Storm, this is Professor Xavier. Don't view this plot hole.
I'm going to tell you how to deactivate nuclear missiles because Cerebro knows.
How?
Well,
Don't view that plot hole.
Well,
Yeah, it's something
listen.
that all bald men in all shows just need to start saying.
okay, listen, Rogue,
That plot hole.
Storm, you don't need to sacrifice yourself. Allow me to
I just happened to stumble upon nuclear information.
allow me to Deus Ex Machina this bullshit.
Yeah.
Ready? This is how you deactivate it. Good thing I did it at the last second.
Yep.
Save the day.
And then
How fast is Wolverine?
this is Magneto. At a nuclear test site, we send 3 X-Men.
I think the question comes up again. Where's Jean? Where's Gambit?
They're at the mall with Professor's fucking charge card.
Yep.
the next episode, we're going to explain problems with the team. But this part right here, you sent your A team. I'm sorry, this is the A team.
Yeah.
Storm, Cyclops, Wolverine.
And they got wiped in a matter of seconds.
Sorry, it's the A- because it's missing some members.
They got that's the A team. He's right.
As
Those
is
are
right.
like 3
That's the
guns.
A-team?
That is the 18.
You got
yes.
Storm,
Cyclops
you got
is the-
Cyclops, Wolverine. Wolverine
Cyclops-
is your unkillable tank. Cyclops is your powerhouse. Storm is your literal fucking
Wild card.
She's your Swiss Army knife.
I thought
Yeah.
Rogue was the wild card.
No.
No. Technically, the wild card is Gambit. He's good at stealth, and at the same time, if you piss him off, he's going to card you to death with one single card being flipped out of a deck.
Rogue is your bruiser.
Yeah.
There's a reason why this is your main team. Scott's your leader, but Storm is the second in command. If Scott goes down, Storm takes over as the team leader. It's always been that way in the show.
This brings up another point I want to bring up. Remember in the last arc with Storm's telling Cyclops not to continue fighting the Sentinels?
Yeah.
She tells Scott, no, don't blast those nuclear missiles in the air. Instead, I will go up and get rid of them.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you told him not to. You stopped him again.
Yeah,
don't
but
worry,
that's because
that's not the confusing
that's
part.
because Scott was willing to kill all of them right then and there, and she said
But it's up in the air when it...
that would kill them. The nuclear, it would snow nuclear radiation down on top of them. It
Yeah.
would
Because
kill all of them.
Wolverine is retarded and he could probably survive it.
Yeah.
Wolverine would be the only one coming back
Those
home.
missiles were not high enough. They had not left atmosphere. They're not orbital strike nuclear missiles. They were still well below the clouds. If he would have shot them, they would have blew up over the base and rained down nuclear death
and there's
upon
3
them.
of them,
Yeah.
so it would have irradiated the entire fucking city.
Now,
I thought
he was willing to do that because he said,
Rather
it's better
over
that
here
I
than over
destroy
a city.
It's better here than over a city. And then Storm says, no, only one of us has to die. That's basically what she said,
Yeah.
and she flew up there to kill herself.
Now, here's the confusing part for me.
She was going to drive those missiles into the water and blow them up,
Yeah.
and it was going to kill her.
Yeah, because all that makes sense to me. Now, here's the confusing part, because I can't remember if it's in this episode or the next episode, but wasn't 2 episodes ago Wolverine ready to throw down with Cyclops over nothing?
Yeah, now they're buddies.
Yeah, quite literally. She's just tuckered out. Let's go home, Wolverine. Okay, buddy.
Yeah.
What?
That's Wolverine's.
Did you
fucking-
punch? You just punched me not too long ago.
And threatened to kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you keep trying to take my woman. I'm not your buddy.
I'm not your buddy.
Well,
I mean,
he's
to
not-
be
he's
fair,
not
he's not
try-
guy.
Well, to be
I
fair,
ain't your
not
guy,
quite
pal.
yet.
yeah, and well, to be fair, my lady's not around.
I ain't your pal, friend.
You can't take my lady from me because hell, she's barely here.
Yeah, exactly.
Bitch is at the mall.
She's been at
With
the mall for
Gambit.
the last 4 episodes.
Busy.
Goddamn, Jean gets no use in the beginning. You look at her and when she's in the credits, and it's like Jean Grey. You're like, I don't care. I have no emotional connection to you whatsoever.
So now
Not
we move
yet.
on to episode 4. Note 1.
I got a big
the
one.
mind probing one.
How in the hell can Sabertooth hide his diabolical scheme from Professor X?
Okay, that's not even
I
the
got
first thing
I got a
wanna
bigger
bring
problem.
up. First thing you see is Wolverine and Deadpool.
Yeah, Deadpool.
Then the next thing you see is 2 random mutants. and I can't
Omega
think of who
Red
they
is
are.
one of them.
Yeah,
No. Omega Red is the last guy you see.
Yeah, there's a bunch of
He's
cameos
the
at the
very
start.
last
I did have it
guy.
written that there are cameos,
Yeah.
but I just kind of passed them by.
Yeah, because the first people that you see is you see Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah.
The next one is like some blue-faced clock-looking guy with somebody the fuck else next to him in gold. The next one is some scientist chick and another guy, which if memory serves, that's the whole why Wolverine and Sabertooth hate each other thing.
I didn't bother with it. I saw all of them, and I
And
was
then
gonna.
Omega Red is the last one.
I was gonna take notes on who they were, but I just kind of passed them by because I knew that by this time we'd be over an hour in.
Yeah, it's kind of true.
Was Lady Deathstrike one of them?
No.
Well,
Okay.
since we're in the Xavier Mansion at the moment, my first note is actually it's I don't understand. So you have all these X-Men. Cyclops is pretty strong. Storm is pretty strong. Even Rogue, Wolverine. They're all pretty strong. They're pretty strong.
Yeah, well,
Why
speaking of
would
pretty
you-
strong? Apparently, Balto's back.
I shut that door, buddy.
Yeah,
Come on.
We closed the door.
I was wondering why did you put the newest member, Jubilee, to watch Sabertooth?
That's way too far from now. We just started the episode.
I thought that was in the beginning of the
You're at
episode.
the end of the episode. Literally the
No,
last.
the end of the episode's different because that's when they fight.
You're like
Yeah, you're like at like the mid fucking
yeah.
point.
We haven't even got to the point that he says, "Oh, I've been making progress with Sabertooth," and Wolverine did not know Sabertooth was there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right.
We are
What's he
still-
doing
Yeah,
here?
we are still literally fucking Sabertooth is chained to the bed,
Yeah.
and fucking Professor X is probing his mind, and he's fucking
He says-
being a sideshow freak
Why
in a
won't
fucking
you let
zoo.
me in? Why
and-
won't you let me
Yeah.
in?
Yeah.
He says, "What's he doing here? You didn't know?"
Yeah. How could you not tell? You can go,
Right.
there's an asshole in here.
You
Let
can't-
me kill him.
You can't sniff? Like, what the fuck is going on? Yeah, that I have that, and then I said, I was surprised that they let Sabertooth say, "Yeah, I killed his friends. I killed Wolverine's family." They basically let that go on a Saturday morning cartoon.
Yeah.
You think that wasn't even more red flags for Xavier? No.
Like, because he says, "Well, what's the problem here?" And he says, he says, "We used to be good friends, even work together." And he's like, "But then we had misunderstandings." And he's like, "Yeah, he wasted some of my friends. He wasted some of my friends, and I misunderstood." And then they're like, "Yeah, that did happen."
Yeah, misunderstandings.
Yeah.
No, he just says, "Yeah, he wasted some friends of mine for no reason, and I misunderstood."
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Quite
what that's.
literally, the reason why they hate each other is because when Wolverine was still James, fucking Sabertooth ended up, like, trying to rape his fiancée, and she said no, so he basically stabbed her to death with his claws, and then after Wolverine went feral and became Weapon X, he ended up killing a bunch of Sabertooth's family. So they were like,
No.
definitely done with each
Well,
other.
No.
with this cartoon, that's not the way it goes. So
Even then, if I remember right, the Weapon X thing all happens after the fact, because Wolverine is caught and taken to the Weapon X things, but the Sabertooth thing started even before the Weapon X stuff was going on, because they were friends in the 1800s, I think.
Yeah, no, that sounds about right.
But I know Sabertooth does kill, like, his wife.
Yeah, it's like his wife or his girlfriend or some shit.
And I think a couple other people, to be fair, also. I can't remember exactly what was going on. Wolverine's continuity is ever expanding and changing.
Yeah, it does kind of depend on where you're at when it comes to the books.
yeah.
Let me see here.
Excuse me.
Oh, yeah, then I guess I don't have anything. We go right into the area where they meet Magneto and the,
Oh, I got a fun little one with us starting.
what?
Has Xavier ever worn a toupee?
Oh, that's exactly where I was
Yeah.
Magneto wonders how Xavier will look, indicating that this has been a very long time since they've seen each
I
other.
wonder if he has a toupee.
Yeah, they wonder about a toupee and stuff like that, which confused me, because if he was fine with being bald as a younger man, why would he... I don't understand.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, has he ever worn a toupee?
During the fight, which does not take long, it shows us that the X-Men literally cannot contend with the power that Magneto has. He makes short work of them.
Even with Rogue being in here instead of Wolverine.
Like, this fight is interesting. One, we get to learn about Storm's claustrophobia.
Yep.
She's extremely claustrophobic, and it deals with an accident that actually deals with bricks
Down towards her,
when she was a kid. No, that's even when she was a kid. That's where that came from. She was nearly crushed to death. There's something happened, like a house fell in or something like that. I can't remember exactly what, but that stems from how she got that phobia.
Yeah.
So when that brick wall falls...
It takes her right back to that moment.
Yeah, she literally
her
she has
fear-
a PTSD.
Yeah,
flashback.
right. I saw that part, and I was like,
Yeah.
okay, that makes sense. But here's what doesn't make sense. After the brick wall falls, Rogue gets up. She's like... And then she sees Storm and laying there. It's like, oh, those bricks weren't that heavy. Why couldn't you hold the wall up then?
Because it was crumbling around her.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how strong you are. The physics were against you. The wall, as it came down, you could hold up this part, but it was... He broke it in
bricks-
multiple spots.
Yeah, the bricks are basically held together by, like, concrete. Concrete is basically just a bunch of rocks that have been fused together with water. Now, eventually, with fire, that water does fully evaporate, and it ends up going back to being dirt and rocks again. So, it don't matter when it comes down to how strong you are. If the structural integrity is going, that shit's collapsing around her.
Well, when the wall started coming down, she could hold up one part, but the top and the sides and everything were coming in.
Yeah.
She couldn't have held that wall
Why
up.
would
It
she-
wasn't stable
now-
enough to be held up.
Just because she can handle bricks falling on her, not everybody else can. Not everybody else has your retarded strength.
Well, that comes down to the way people reference. Like, people don't ever often think about it, but, like, it happens with everybody. If you're strong enough to lift something up, you just kind of naturally assume that other people are
Right.
too.
No, I understand that Storm is a very powerful mutant.
And, like, no, but Rogue lives her everyday life as a nearly indestructible being. She doesn't think in terms of how fragile the rest of the world really is.
Yeah.
So when bricks fall on her and it kind of knocked her over, and she just moves them over, and she sees that it basically took Storm out, she's like, "Oh shit, are you okay?" Like, I didn't figure they were that heavy.
I thought maybe they. I guess you can't. I get bricks.
Heavy, but not that heavy. You don't think
Yeah.
that way. You can
her
lift
fear with that did
with one
To be
hand.
fair-
You can lift a tank. You
be
can't
fair-
understand what is heavy to a normal person.
To be fair, I guess I would have the same mentality if I had Superman's strength and you guys didn't.
Right.
I'd be like, and Seth is like, God, this box is heavy. I'm like, come on,
Yeah,
dude, that ain't nothing.
Exactly. Like, when you go that route, then you put it in terms of, like, okay, Superman lifts a tank. Wonder Woman lifts a tank. Batman gets run over by the tank if he doesn't dodge. Because he's not lifting that motherfucker. He's normal, everyday, average guy with $1 billion.
He might send explosive to blow it up.
But the idea that's really comes down on that is you have to be... Okay, if you can just lift a tank because you can just do that, then how do you relate to somebody? Like, what does 50 pounds feel like to some guy? Is that heavy? Is 50 pounds just 50 pounds? Is that a big deal?
And which way are you holding it to?
Yeah.
But you don't think that way. Because you never have to. You never have to.
You have no...
You can hold a building.
You have no limit to your strength.
Yeah, you can hold up a building with your one hand. So, like, for you to even consider the idea, like, okay, when you walk up and you pick up a glass of tea, you don't even notice that you're picking it up. It is so lightweight, it is so feather that the weight doesn't even register to you. But to a normal person, it does.
Yeah.
So how do you idealize what 50 pounds is really like?
For Rogue to finally be like, man,
because that wall
heavy.
Wall falling down, that one area of bricks is probably like 170 pounds, maybe, that one slab that was on her.
And then she was like holding that up, like, and while she's like, move, Storm. It's coming down.
Yeah, because it wasn't heavy. She was like, I don't think I can hold this because it was falling in all different places. And she was like, there's no stability. I can't push back.
And Storm
this
was
is
just
coming
frozen.
down.
And
Storm wasn't moving. And she was like, you got to fucking go. And then it came down. And then to her, that was nothing. She pushes the bricks off and she looks around, sees Storm, and she's like, oh, shit. She's like, they weren't that heavy, right? They weren't. That's more like an inner worry. Like she doesn't understand.
Now, my next one goes straight into the fact that when Rogue gets out and she moves that brick slab off a Storm, and she's checking to see if she's okay, Cyclops is over there laying down.
I actually have a note that says she worried about that. The X-Men have never been taken out this quickly. You could tell that they've never been outdone like this before because they were taken out fast.
They were.
Yeah.
They were. And
you could tell it's never happened because when Rogue comes up and she's like, okay, Storm is down. And she didn't even consider the fact that Scott would be too. It didn't even phase the idea because
until
she was
saw
like,
him.
And when
she takes the bricks off, she kind of moves her a bit and she's like, all right, she's still alive. And she looks over and she's like, holy shit, Scott's down too.
Now, because so far we've seen 3 episodes, and in the 3 episodes that we've seen, Scott has never fallen down.
Not really.
Yeah,
he gets
not
knocked
really.
over, but he gets right back up.
Now, Rogue is a lot more durable than the rest of them because of her powers. So when she goes over to Cyclops, now, I'm a little confused. I am actually confused because she gives him mouth to mouth.
Oh, yeah, that's
Is he dead?
Too.
Okay, well, you give mouth to mouth to somebody that's not breathing.
No, but we don't know what those chemicals were, and he breathed them in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, when she gave him mouth to mouth,
And it's a good thing that Xavier's a doctor in this continuity. 'Cause
Yeah. Too bad he's busy arguing with
yeah,
Magneto off screen.
Hey, your team is dying.
Yeah.
Stop it.
No,
Stop
but
it.
this was well done in order to give Magneto and Xavier a way to talk, and the X-Men were occupied with the carnage that was happening. They didn't interfere. It allowed us to have an
And the
Xavier
carnage that is
Magneto
still-
moment.
And the carnage that's still going on with them, because with Rogue doing mouth to mouth, it's like, oh, you're okay. Ah, I blast!
Yeah,
But
that's actually
exactly
something I was going to say, too.
Give
is
me-
how did she not kill him,
Yeah,
but
with the
then
mouth
she
to
almost
mouth.
takes out everybody
Here's the
because
thing.
of the power transfer?
Here's the thing. We've seen before that if somebody's sleeping and Rogue touches you, you wake the fuck up because you're in pain. Correct? Am I right?
No, she drains your strength and energy. So if you have powers, she takes your powers.
But when she was giving mouth to mouth to Scott, and Scott was just laying there, not in pain, I was confused.
Because he wasn't breathing.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought.
It's the most pain you can be in.
Yeah, he was TKO'd like a motherfucker.
Now, you can go ahead with your next one because your next one probably is somewhere similar to mine.
Yeah, my next one is apparently Professor X shows that he's a dick.
He doesn't care about the walls being blasted.
No, it's not even that. He's like, Magneto, you and I used to be friends. We should be friends again. Yeah, well, fuck that. Okay, well, fuck you too. Relive the most painful childhood memory you have. How about that shit?
And because that helmet in
Shit.
this universe doesn't protect you, he's like, no, Stop it, Charles.
Yeah,
Don't
he just
make me watch this. Too bad.
he just threw him into a loop
Yeah.
Dude.
of hell, basically.
Until
No, I'm
Magneto
gonna tell
said,
you
But
"Fuck
here's the
this,
thing:
I'm out."
Magneto says it. Magneto, this is another one of those things that we get when these two guys get together. Magneto says, "Look, I've done this. I've done the talking thing before. My people talked. We used diplomacy. We did all the right things, and we were run over for it.
Yep.
Really run over.
Now this time, I've got nothing to say. This time, my people have been threatened, and I'm going straight to what happened to me." I'm going to hit back, and I'm going to hit back hard because talking don't work.
No, my problem. Your note was different than mine. When Rogue absorbed Cyclops' power,
And eye blasting and stuff.
and Cyclops woke up, he's like, Cyclops, I absorbed your power. How do you deal with this? I'm like,
Close your eyes.
are you kidding me?
How would they know?
Well,
Yeah, she wouldn't.
Cyclops, have you noticed that in the mansion, Cyclops always has the visor on?
he
Yeah.
either has the visor on or he has
The
his shades on.
sunglasses, Yeah.
No, I understand that. Okay, but here's my thing. Once again, it comes back to we're a team. How do we not know each other's things?
My guess is the X-Men never talk to each other, ever.
Okay, because I'm sorry, you're my leader. My power is that if I accidentally touch you, I absorb your ability. I need to know everything about your ability, how to shut it off, what to do.
Actually, Rogue needs to do that with everyone, considering what she can do.
Because what if you're...
Well, that's another thing, too, though. That's one thing she doesn't care to learn, because when she does touch somebody, she also takes memories and shit.
And I know that
One of the things that she has now that she'll never get away from is by touching Scott, she makes this little comment, but we'll have to do it again sometime. What she's doing is teasing him, but she knows everything that he thinks about Jean.
Jean's not going to like this, but I don't have a choice.
No, but now that she's touched him, she is him.
Yeah.
He's in here forever. She gets memories, life experience, and powers.
I mean, it must be some good ones if she's
doesn't
we should do
Rogue-
that again.
No, to get...
No, but she's teasing him. She knows how he feels about Jean. She knows that there's no other woman ever. He is one of those guys that is so dedicated to the woman that he's chosen to love that his eyes see nobody else. He can go to the beach with 1,000 supermodels and he's still looking at his lady.
No, that is...
And she knows that now.
I will give Scott credit. That is some loyal to the fucking end. But when but that's the thing about the team. And I've never in the 4 episodes that we've watched,
They don't seem like they know each other very well.
No.
I need to know because it doesn't matter if you're laying there dying, you're not breathing.
It would have been nice to have a first episode where we put them together and we understand why they don't know each other.
Because they need to know each other's abilities.
But this started as if they'd always been a team.
Yeah.
Rogue is essentially a fucking parasite. My powers is to fuck you up, take your memory and your power. If I hold on long enough, I will kill you, like I did to Miss Marvel. I almost killed her, but this time my powers didn't go away.
In that continuity, Miss Marvel is in a permanent coma.
Yeah.
In the cartoon continuity, she's in a permanent
and then
coma.
I get to keep her powers permanently.
Yeah,
now
because
for
you're
Scott,
never waking up.
For Scott,
which is something weird about that too. Like because she slipped her into a coma and held on for so long, the powers became permanent. So if she wanted to be the brokest thing ever, she could just hold on to the strongest mutants until she killed them and just keep their powers.
thing about it is though is like, hey, if Rogue
she could be like Sylar
or Peter before they broke him.
Yeah.
Heroes? You guys see Heroes?
But Sylar actually has to kill you to do it, so yeah, she's like Sylar.
Peter was a sponge. He absorbed your abilities by being near you. He got so broken that the show literally had to dumb him down.
They had to find a way to nerf
They
him.
had to nerf him because he was too broken.
I believe that.
That always pissed me off, by the way.
Well, since we're on to the next thing then, also, along with Professor X being a dick, after he mind controls his chair to come back over to him.
Yes, he does.
He gets kind of the fuck up. Like, he's
thank you.
supposed to be
Thank you.
paralyzed
Thank you.
from the waist
Thank you.
down. How does he move his
He's
knee?
not paralyzed.
Well,
in this continuity,
yes and no.
His powers are paralyzing him. So
Yeah.
he might just have slight like slight hardcore, slight control.
Okay.
Like
I didn't.
maybe he can kind of move around, but he would not be able to support standing or something
I
like
didn't
that.
write
I don't know because
Yeah.
he's not paralyzed. His powers are paralyzing him
There
because
is-
later they'll go to the Savage Land
And
and,
he has-
he'll climb mountains and shit.
Because he doesn't
Yeah.
have his powers. That makes a lot of sense. That truly does make sense because they did a reversal in the movies where Hank was giving him that serum so he could walk, but he had no
Yeah.
powers. But
Yeah.
but
yeah, in
that
the movies they
continuity-
kind of played reverse on that. Yeah, that's right.
But in that continuity, he was literally paralyzed because of Magneto's. I fucking flung a bullet accidentally at your spine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but in this continuity, his powers are crippling him.
Okay.
They
Yeah.
got so strong
Yep.
that somehow they
I
made him
noticed
not
that
walk.
too because when you see him, when Magneto's a dick. I don't give a fuck if he's slightly paralyzed or not.
I think everybody.
You
in some
pushed him.
form
You
of
pushed a
power
man out of a
position is
wheelchair.
dick.
You're a dick.
Yeah.
And then he's army crawling because he can't use his legs. But then when his chair comes, you see him literally use his knee to get up. I'm like,
Yeah.
are you fucking
Good thing
playing people?
Good thing Rogue
Yeah.
has her eyes closed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Storm's TKO'd, Rogue has her eyes closed, and Scott's just not paying attention.
No,
You're just,
I
yep,
really
okay.
think that. No, Scott, he was out too.
Actually,
Because when he
Oh,
got
yeah.
back up, he was still coughing and everything. Whatever that was,
he got hit with that chemical.
And then I
Yeah.
think he gets treated. We don't get to see it, but he probably gets
He
treated. on the
basically
Blackbird.
wakes up.
Yeah.
He wakes up enough to be like, Rogue, close your eyes. That is how I
Oh,
shut
and by
my
the way,
powers off.
Scott's powers don't work like that. I'm going to keep iterating this because I'm one of those guys that likes the continuity to phase out correctly. If nothing else, get the character's powers right. That should be something like, I can't stand the fucking Scarlet Witch. I hate her. Her power is hexes. That way we can do whatever we want, whenever we want, however we want. We
By
never
the
have
way,
to explain it.
Bill brought that up last night when we were talking because she killed. She was like, all mutants died, and I told Bill, well, technically, isn't she a mutant?
Hexes.
Because she would die.
Hexes.
Explain.
Hexes.
Explain.
I just did.
No, you didn't
On
explain.
Marvel.
No.
Hexes.
DC would have explained.
Hexes.
This
I
is
just
what.
want. No, I
See,
win. I win. Nope. I have 65 books. Keep up, bitch.
Hey, hey,
3 hours to explain.
But at least they would explain.
65 books. Keep up, bitch. You
Oh,
can't keep up. It's not my fault.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Buy Marvel Unlimited.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Hexes.
Is your comic
Hexes.
books falling behind DC? Oh, yeah, they are.
Nope. Hexes.
You ain't the Juggernauts. DC's the Juggernaut.
Nope. Not when I do a hex.
Oh, please.
Doing it.
Hex DC.
It's about to happen.
Okay, look. Well, let's see. They're
Here
still
comes the
doing.
Legacy Hex, bitch.
We're doing the Legacy Hex. 'cause
65 books of
they're,
Legacy
they're
Hexing.
still producing fantastic stories.
We'll see. We'll see what Legacy does, to be fair, but that's all they did with her. Scott's power does not have recoil. She could not fall on her ass and be pushed around the room by his power.
Because he never falls down.
He
Yeah.
can't. If that power had recoil and he could punch through 6 feet of solid steel, his fucking head would rip off.
Yeah.
He'd be like, "Browp," and then he'd be
Now,
like, "Whoa!"
Now,
then again, she
And
might
got
not be
4
used to
seconds
it
till
yet,
he died.
so-
Well, no, I have a different theory. Because of the severity of how his powers work. Because
Now,
when
if
you're-
she fell backwards, that's
Yeah.
something, but she didn't. It whipped her around.
Okay. Because yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
She
'cause it
doesn't
did.
quite understand him, though, so it's like,
Well,
whoa.
Right, but whoa is not the same thing. There's zero recoil in that power. Zero
If-
recoil. It does not push against him.
If she was surprised because, like, oh my god, this is what you deal with every day, I'm shocked because it won't stop. It just will not stop.
Right, and that would
Yeah.
be one
That's
thing.
different
but
if you
it
stumble.
whipped her around the room.
Yeah, it did. It whipped her around like a goddamn ragdoll.
It
because,
threw her
Yeah.
up and onto her ass, and then she tried to get up, and it threw her back into like a vat thing.
It basically was like she was riding a fucking fire hose.
And then she put her hands on it, and you notice Cyclops' power, a testament to his power. She has part of it. Part of it. That's it. Not all of it. Part of it. She put her hands
try to-
over her eyes and was like, "Fuck that."
And it burnt her because you saw the smoke.
Which
Yeah.
that doesn't do that either. God damn it! It's all force. There's no heat in those beams. There's no heat and there's no recoil. It's all force.
well, because
Does that make physics sense? No, it makes mutant sense.
well,
Hexes.
you already said the fuck. You already said that Scott's power is dimensional.
Kind of.
Yeah.
They say that his power is he opens some sort of portal through his eyes, and the dimension pulls the energy. And his body processes that energy, by the way. So that's the reason his brother and he cannot hurt each other.
Yep.
If he
And
shoots
that
his
is
brother,
why-
all he does is charge his brother. If his brother shoots him, all he does is charge
And
him.
that is why Mr. Sinister can never beat the X-Men. Because Cyclops' power is literally his one true fucking weakness. And I hate that.
Yeah, Sinister, for
Mr.
some
Sinister,
reason,
if he
is
gets
very
hit with
weak
his
to-
blast,
Yeah.
he is done. It hurts
Yeah.
him like a motherfucker.
But
Yeah.
yes, this is...
That's why Crosshair is out there making babies. Because fuck Mr. Sinister.
All I'm saying is that my biggest problem with the show so far, 20 years of having watched this show, I thought it was going to be some corny motherfucker. Please, it is corny.
in
Some
places.
of it is, yeah.
But the fact that a team needs to know. What makes the Green Lantern Corps so good is that each of them know their... I know.
To be fair, they all have the same power.
True, but
Yeah.
you know what they're capable of.
Yeah.
I'm John Stewart. I know exactly what Hal Jordan can do. I know what kind of beast he is. I know the creativity behind Kyle Rayner. I know Guy's an asshole.
It's true.
The
we
Green
know that.
Lantern Corps is a perfect fucking team, in my opinion.
Yeah.
They work so well together. This team right here, if his power is teleportation, but I'm Rogue. I accidentally bump into you one day. I don't know your power. You never told me how to control your power. In case I accidentally do this, I need to know every failsafe you use to keep your powers in check. I don't know you. We're a team. I live in the same fucking house. Your room is 2 doors down.
Yeah.
Chances are we gonna bump at least once or twice walking down the hall. Fucking,
And
it's
with
early.
Rogue,
I
you'd
need to
want to
go
bump
for
a lot.
it's early. I need to go to breakfast. I'm tired. My eyes are barely open. I'm Shane in the morning. Fucking oops.
You don't want me to have Rogue's power and come over here tired. I'll be like, "What's up, man?" Oh God, Shane, stop it! Bill's memories.
Bill's memories.
I have his power of always right.
Sweet power, by the way. Sweet power.
Did you guys know that Superman can beat everybody? No, that's not true. I'm always right.
Well, there are some people that can take him, but it's very circumstantial.
Ah, you see that?
Like
Now
Alfred,
I know that.
Alfred Pennyworth can kick the shit out of Superman.
Okay, I do like how they did that in the Injustice because Harley Quinn brings it up. But no, that's good. No, but you need to be a good team, and that's my biggest problem with the show is that it seems like you just got like 6 random people, put them together, and gave them no chemistry.
Now, during this, when they're on their way home,
Oh, the Cinder thing.
Yeah, Senator Kelly is on the television.
And he pissed Sabertooth off something fierce.
did you pay attention to what Senator Kelly said?
Yep.
He was running for president.
And oh, you let that pass by. Okay, a lot of people do that. They pick up on the president thing and their mind kind of shuts down. Senator Kelly said, I am going to announce my candidacy for the president of the United States tonight. And they said,
Yep.
what is your first act as president? And he said, the first thing I am going to do is round up all the mutants in our nation
and put them in a fucking concentration
and put them
camp.
in a deterrent camp.
Yep.
So that we can start figuring out what they are, who they are, and what we need to fear, what we need to look out for, and save our proud nation.
Okay, Hitler.
No, but that's what he said, and
Yeah.
we've done it too.
Yeah,
We
done
did
it
it to
too.
the Japanese.
Yeah.
A lot they don't like to like when
As
we
soon
when
as
we
Pearl Harbor got bombed.
Sulu was a part of it.
Yeah. Pearl Harbor got bombed. Every
George
Japanese
Takei.
American putting in an internment camp, just
Yeah.
like all the Jews over in fucking Europe.
We did it too.
when we went over to Japan.
It wasn't exactly the same thing, but we did it
We
too.
treated-
We weren't gassing them in fucking showers and shit.
Yeah,
but
we weren't killing
we
them.
We did take a lot of Japanese Americans and put them in determinate
When
camps.
we were over in Japan after the World War,
The
we treated
Pearl Harbor,
we
yeah.
treated the Japanese like scum. And that's why we took away their military. They have a military because the United States is their military.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
part of the agreement for the ceasefire was that they could never militarize.
We basically treated them like literal shit.
Yeah.
But regardless of all that,
However, the important part here is
what's crazy
that's
is
how we get
this
the
was
future storylines.
this was a Saturday morning cartoon show
This cartoon
that let him drop some information like that, and exactly what they were hoping for was
and
that
the task
some people.
person, that task guy was
But
in.
some people would catch on to this, and some people would be so interested in the action of the story that passed them right by. You were waiting for the Sabertooth fight. That remark, he did the first part, and you just kind of was like, okay, cool, he's president.
Yep.
But the second part, they slipped that in there so fast that you looked over it.
But I didn't look past the Sentinel guy was behind some of the cameras watching this announcement
Yeah,
happening.
yeah, he was back there. That was kind of crazy. I was like, oh, that's wild.
And here is my problem.
I'm surprised that you caught a detail that was so hidden.
It was
'Cause
hard
it
at
wa- it
first,
was-
but then I recognized
because
wait,
it was
the glasses, the
Yep.
outfit. Yep.
Yeah,
same
that was
every
him.
To
guy.
be fair, do you want to know
Yep.
how I can't forget that guy? When I first seen that guy, I'm like, what up, Norman? Because of his hair color. I'm like, what up, Norman?
Yep.
I always, when I see him, I always think Norman Osborn.
Yep.
So I can never forget him. But I understand Sabertooth's anger. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. I understand.
Yeah, which, all that's understandable. I mean, now, don't get me wrong, like I said, I could throw out some hardcore spoilers here, because, we already know what's coming down the pipeline, but because it's coming down the pipeline, I'm going to leave it alone for right
My
now.
next note is that Jubilee is a dumbass, and
Yeah.
who the fuck is fooled by Sabertooth?
Yeah, no, that was my next note as well.
Right.
Jubilee is a fucking idiot.
Why the fuck is Jubilee
See?
the only one there?
Because there's no students at the Xavier School for Higher Learning.
Because Jean Grey is at the fucking mall.
But why is
hanging out
why
with
isn't
Gambit.
Why are they still at the mall?
This is my
Because
first.
it's a late mall.
This
It
is
stays
my
open
this is
really
my
late.
first note
It's
that I
a
put
long
down.
walk.
And
They
this
took the
and this-
Blackbird
and this
the
comes
first
full
time.
circle.
There's no students, and the other X-Men are simply not there.
Why okay, Professor Xavier?
Oh, and Wolverine never left the school. He said, as long as he's here, I'm going to be somewhere else. He never left the school.
No.
And he knew. This is one of those things. I think that Wolverine is highly trained, and they never say it, but they show it. Wolverine left, stayed in the mansion.
He probably drank some beers.
No, because they thought he left.
Yeah.
He said, I'm leaving, and they thought he left the school completely.
they
He
literally-
he hid in like a closet type of
He-
thing and waited for them
For
to
He
all
hid,
intents and
not only did he,
purposes-
not only did he hide in the school, he knew he wasn't just going to go down there and kill Sabertooth. He's not that kind of person. But he knew at some point something was going to go south. He was even in his battle equipment.
Yep.
He went and X-suited up and hid
Well, he
in
still
the
had
mansion.
That stuff on since the
We don't know.
No,
that. We don't know.
when he
that.
left, he wasn't wearing his.
He had the mask off, but
Oh
that's it.
yeah, he had the mask off, but he did keep that shit. Like he didn't
He's
go
not
back to his
stupid.
flannel shirt.
Listen,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but
Yeah, 'cause
unlike
normally
Professor,
when he leaves, he does. He puts on his fucking 20-gallon cowboy hat
but he still had
and his
his stuff
fucking
on.
tank
unlike
top.
here's the thing that people don't
Well,
see.
in this he wears flannel shirts. He looks like a lumberjack in this series
Yeah,
for
it's
some
true.
reason. It's always a flannel shirt and jeans.
Well, that's also because it's
Canada.
the 90s, so let's pull in the
Canada,
garage.
lumberjack, Canada.
whatever.
Kind of. Like I said, it's the 90s. Let's pull in all
Let's
the
do-
grunge movement.
But here's the thing: what makes Wolverine, I think, smarter than most people give him credit for, is because I hate him. I hate that man. I'm going to stay Sabertooth. I hate Sabertooth. I hate that man. I'm staying near him. I might not be in the same room, but I'm staying in this mansion. But what Professor X did, because for all intents and purposes, the only person in that entire building
Yeah.
that needs to watch Sabertooth is Sparkles.
She was the only one in the building.
Yeah.
The Xavier Institute for Higher Learning has no students.
I understand. You don't. Yeah, 'cause it's only the fucking 7 of them.
And they're all out of school. They're all like 30
Jubilee
and 40
is
years
the only
old.
student because she's like what 16.
Yeah.
No. You didn't say it right. His student.
Student. Okay, sorry.
You got to do the
But-
finger quotes.
Because
like,
she
like you're
also
talking about the new
she's
iPad
also just
3DS
like she's
and
also
stuff
just
like that.
living there.
Yeah.
She's
Kinda
watching
like when
TV.
you say stick.
Yeah, she's just watching TV and hanging
sir.
out. She's
Right.
not even actually a
But
student.
I
Yeah.
put the same note that you guys did down. I just put a different word. I'm like, why is Jubilee so fucking dumb?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're gonna believe. First off, look at him.
But then again, she could be taken. You notice that she spends a lot of time with Xavier in this, and so far, like that's where we always see her. She's always sitting around Xavier. She could be feeding into his bullshit.
Yeah.
Am I?
He's telling her, "I've done a lot of work. I've got him pretty much fixed."
Yeah. I mean, he is.
So maybe she feeds into his bullshit.
I'll give
Yeah.
because she's young.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you can, and she's very influential. I'll believe that. But here's my thing. Look at him. Look at that scary man. Look at the
Oh,
scary.
it's a bodysuit.
Look,
Yeah.
That's not a bodysuit. look at the scary.
Please be a bodysuit.
I don't
Please be a
give a fuck.
bodysuit.
I don't
So then he is naked. Shane, is that what I'm naked?
Why not?
Look,
Okay.
Here's the worst part about that. Yeah, my wrists are really hurting. All right, fine, I'll open it. There, you feel better? Oh, yeah, I heal real quick, too. Snatch. Oh, look, he has the healing factor. Cut to him and Wolverine fighting. Wolverine goes down. Now let's put him in a hospital bed with bandages around
That
him.
is my last note.
Hold on. Now this part right here, in terms of Wolverine, in terms of this fight, was highly censored.
Yeah.
They were given notes before this episode even aired that Sabertooth and Wolverine were not allowed to collide. I'm serious. They weren't allowed to collide through shoulder charges. This is a stipulation. There was to be no Wolverine cutting.
But Sabertooth could cut Wolverine.
That's fine. That wasn't in the stipulation.
Yeah.
There was to be, because he's the hero.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, when we get to Spider-Man, I'm gonna really come down on that series, because while the series was good, Spider-Man, in the entirety of fucking 5 seasons, never threw one punch
He always
on screen.
at all.
He always webbed
Yeah,
people.
add on.
He
At
webs
all.
people, throws people, knocks people down, web swings away from
Will
people.
throw stuff with his web.
I think
He
if
does
memory
not
serves-
throw a single punch the entire show.
No,
not
I think
one
I think
punch.
he throws 2 punches. One to break a wall, and one because it's a robot and he can get away with harming the robot.
No, even then he rode it and like webbed up its fucking face and like threw it against the wall, and then like did a sciencey thing where he had like an electric thing shock it.
I thought in like the 3rd season there
Talking
was
about the
some
Spider
random...
Slayers at the very first, like
no,
the
no,
very
no, no,
first
no. I'm
episodes.
talking like somewhere in like the 3rd season.
Don't
there
know.
was like
I'm telling you,
some
not a punch.
Terminator-esque robot.
I promise you, when we get there, not one punch.
All
In
right,
fact,
fair
I'll
enough.
throw a celebration the very first punch we see on screen that actually lands against the bad guy,
Okay.
because there's not one.
20 years of not seeing that show. I mean, to be fair,
Now, this show, they were told Wolverine cannot cut, they cannot collide harshly, there is to be no kicking, Wolverine may not punch Sabertooth, Sabertooth may not punch Wolverine. These were stipulations before the two guys could fight.
it,
So,
I
it's-
mean,
so,
giving-
they need it to be a pussy fight.
So what ended up happening? They rolled around on the ground,
and
Yep.
struggled.
and they struggled with each other, and
Followed by
the only
no,
attack...
Sabertooth, and he gets thrown through a brick wall.
No, the only attacks available to them was Sabertooth was allowed to push him with his foot. He fell down, and then he was able to push Sabertooth with feet, and he hit a monitor and fell down and, was defeated.
There was one line when Sabertooth was on top of him and had his hands. He's like, because he was going to put his claws in through his head
Yeah,
to see what adamantium really does to adamantium.
says how about a taste of adamantium
Yeah.
for old time's sake?
Right, and I was
Which
thinking,
is kind of funny because it's adamantium tasting time.
and you know what?
Yeah.
And then I think that's when he kicks him off.
And Wolverine also
no.
calls Sabertooth an egg-sucking piece of gutter trash.
Yep.
I get it. 90s cartoon kids can't say, got to say lame.
But yeah, they weren't allowed to fight,
Okay, I have one question.
and yet they have multiple fights throughout the series.
It's because those two fighting can get real bloody.
So what ends up happening is that fight goes through with those stipulations. Pushy kick, jump on a guy, pushy kick, fall into monitor, defeated. There's our
Sparkles.
fight.
What?
Then Professor Xavier walks in when Wolverine's about to kill him. Like, you know what? No, this is never happening again. It's over. I'm putting my claw up. And I also liked Wolverine's attitude when he was like, you always liked pushing people around smaller than you. Well, I'm smaller.
Push me!
Push me.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool. But then, when Wolverine's about to finish it, Xavier comes in and immediately goes to the Wolverine bashing. Hey, fucking you.
That's it. You're done.
You.
You're out.
No.
Hey, man
stop.
that
Don't
knows it all.
do that.
Gonna kill that girl.
Yeah. How about you fucking mind read a situation a little bit?
I'm sorry, but in the first 4 episodes, I think Professor Xavier is my least favorite character.
He's an asshole.
I think he is a literal awful character.
But I'm going to tell you something.
By the way, like I said it, no, stop.
When you-
don't do that.
Now that you're starting to read X-Men, you're going to discover something if Xavier comes back. He's an asshole.
Yeah.
He is.
you when you asked me this question earlier, the reason why he bashes Wolverine. Wolverine, stop that! You can't kill. Don't kill.
Yeah.
Even if Sabretooth ripped fucking Jubilee's jugular out.
Yeah.
I can't take that. I have to be. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Let me do light pushes. No, I'm sorry. Get in my head then and stop me. I'm cutting this motherfucker down.
And Scott's powers had come back, but I don't think they were very strong yet. Because he was not the first person to be like, oh, that dude's jumping.
What?
Yeah.
How strong is Jubilee's power?
Yes.
Because she was able to knock him through a brick wall.
Later on in the books, as she learns to control it, she does become very powerful.
You said that her power is similar to Gambit's.
In a way, except he uses a form of kinetic energy to charge an item, and then he can throw it, and when the item impacts, the kinetic energy is released.
But she can expel
expel kinetic energy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she doesn't have to have a catalyst. It's almost comparable to Pyro and Iceman. Iceman can do whatever he wants with ice.
He has to have a flame to manipulate.
Yes, but Pyro has to have a flame. Gambit has to have an item.
Okay.
She just does whatever she wants with the energy.
Which, by the way, then Sabertooth goes outside of the wall on the first floor. I'm sorry, I thought it was
a basement myself.
In the basement.
Not in this continuity. They're
Yeah,
just
apparently
right there.
it's on
and
the
the
first-
windows.
Yeah,
the
you
windows
can
are
just
you can look
peek
into
through the fucking window.
If I'm a
you can
kid,
just look into the high-tech secret war room.
Yeah.
There's windows.
Which, by the way, in the 90s when we were watching this shit, what was everybody's favorite thing going on? Call up to Pizza Hut. Get up one of these personal pan pizzas with an X-Men cup or a fucking Ninja Turtles cup for, all you small little children. Yeah, I'm the Pizza Hut guy. Anybody in there? There's just dudes in fucking costumes watching monitors. That's Magneto. We better stop him. What the fuck are you guys doing? I'm just here to deliver some pizzas.
exactly, that would be like
Somebody open the window.
That
Give
would
me
be like-
$60. I'm leaving.
That would be like me and Bill talking, and be like, "Hey, that's a cool building. Looks like an asylum.
Yeah.
Now let's see what's inside." Because we know about the X-Men. They're on the
Secret
news.
war room.
Hey,
Wait.
man, what do you think about those X-Men that the news has been
Sabertooth-
talking about?
Sabertooth leaves the mansion now, so he knows where they are.
Yeah, he knows.
Well, yeah, he already knew. Fucking, he explains it to
he
Jubilee.
explains
I've
it.
been working with Magneto.
Magne-
Magneto sent me here to kill you, fucks.
But did he know exactly where they were?
Yeah.
before?
He said
Yeah.
he said that he was hired to find the place.
He has the same senses as Wolverine.
yeah,
He would have found it.
Eventually, I'd
Wolverine,
imagine.
he has that fucking bloodhound fucking nose.
yep.
That's why they can always find each other.
and he knows Wolverine is there.
And
Yeah.
and him and Wolverine got this checkered past that will be explained.
Bloody
Yeah,
past.
which, in quotes, checkered past.
So yeah, like he cuts Wolverine
Now Wolverine,
so bad.
that it's,
3 cuts.
that it's unconscious time for Wolverine.
Now I will say this: in the animation, all we see is 3 little cuts.
Yes.
But I watched that scene in slow motion, and here's how the cut really was. He got up and cut Wolverine from the shoulder blade all the way down across the side of the stomach.
Which
Yep.
is why the bandages actually would have made more sense where they
Yeah.
are.
Now,
Yeah,
when he
just the
fell
cut on there.
down, the animation shows us 3 little marks. That is not how he was cut. You can see it.
But-
you slow that attack down. He hit him from the shoulder, ripped all the way down to the stomach and across.
But because you can't show that kind of visceral stuff, 3 little cuts.
3 little cuts.
And here's the thing.
Oh, and by the way, I had that toy.
Oh, did you?
I had that toy. You don't remember? Well, when the X-Men first came out, there was a Wolverine, and he actually had the claws, and you could push the button, and they'd go, and they'd come out.
Yep.
And there was a
I had
little
that.
thing on his stomach. You'd hit the thing on his back, and it'd flip around to be 3 cuts.
Yep.
Then you hit it again, you heal, they'd go away.
Well, here's my thing. Once again, not knowing your team's powers.
Yeah, they put him in a fucking
You-
bed with bandages.
Yeah,
I'm
but they
sorry,
said- they
his
said
ass
they-
wasn't even bleeding.
They said he had to stabilize. Like, they acted like he was fucked up.
Hey, Xavier, weren't you in...
Now, if that cut that I described hit him, he was fucked up.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
But because
but all
the
we see is
animation...
3 little gashes.
Yeah.
But because the 3 little gashes is all we got to see, and I'm sorry, once again, Xavier, you said a while ago that you were in his head. You had to control that rage that he has. You know what his powers are. You could have been like, all right, guys, let Wolverine heal. He'll be back.
Yeah, but he also didn't know Sabertooth very well. Somehow Sabertooth hid his fucking evil plan.
Is there a possibility that Sabertooth is smarter than we all give him credit for?
No.
Okay. Is it possible Xavier is just stupid?
I think Xavier is blinded by his own power and his own ambitions.
Can I actually say something?
I feel like it's a combination of, one, Xavier thinks everything's way too fucking easy, so when he has to try, it's too hard for him. But at the same time, considering the fact that Sabertooth did used to pull like Black Ops shit with Wolverine, he might have that mental conditioning where he can.
I think so, but I think Xavier...
You're also
if
talking about the
Xavier's-
most powerful telepath.
But
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
Xavier is blinded by his
No,
own
Jean Grey
ambition.
hasn't been in an episode since the first
And
one.
I think that if Xavier's not looking for something, he's not going to find it.
Because we don't know what Jean can do yet.
But I don't think on your question, I think that he's blinded by his own ambition. If he's not looking for it, he's not interested in it. If he's not looking for it, he
I'm
won't find it.
sorry, but I honestly believe that makes you a bad character.
Dude, Xavier, oh my God.
And in this case, I'm sorry, Magneto knows what he wants.
Okay, look,
You are blinded. He's not blind.
Yeah.
I'm really not trying to link drop in here, but if you want to know my views on Xavier, go to Keeping Up with the X-Men on YouTube. That's what I do, is talk X-Men books, and I just recently talked over the first issue, the X-Men Giant Size #1, technically not the first issue, but in terms of continuity that matters.
Yeah.
One of the first giant issues.
Yes, I talk about that page per page, and I do mention the fact that Xavier is...
A dick.
Asshole.
Xavier, before that comic went out, there's a comic that happens later on that tells us that when he lost the first set of X-Men, he went and got a bunch of kids from Moira and got her kids from her fucking place and told them, hey, you guys are superheroes now. You're superheroes. Thumbs up and everything. We're cool guys. We're superheroes. Go over there and handle that stuff because you guys are cool guys now. They go over there and they all fucking died. And he said,
Maybe I should train them.
maybe I shouldn't send more kids.
I need something a little older.
I still need to send people over there, though, so I'm going to go get more mutants. And he went and got a second team of mutants. Those were the second people he sent over there.
Yep.
And that's what makes him...
And he didn't even blink.
And that's what makes Magneto different. Magneto cares so much about his people. He don't know Beast.
But at the same time, he would put you... But at the same time, that thing that they do in the movie, that's not inaccurate when he says that's why the pawns go first. And I know I'm referencing a movie that nobody likes, but in X3, that's perfect Magneto. They all run out there, and one of his big guys is about to go, and he stops him and says, no, wait.
I think it was Juggernaut, wasn't it?
No, they left Mystique.
And they
no,
left
at the
Mystique.
end-
That's
end-
not at the end of the
Mystique
movie.
was captured.
At the end of the movie, everybody is about to fight,
Oh.
and one
They're
of the
on
guys,
Alcatraz.
is about to run down there, and he stops him and says, "No, wait." And he lets it play out, and he sees all the guys get hit by the cure, and he says, "They weaponized the cure." See, that is why the pawns go first, because I plan to liberate our people. I plan to make this a better world for us. But I'm not oblivious to the horrors that it's going to take to make it happen.
I was a Holocaust victim. I saw horror. I saw what humanity is capable of.
Now, Xavier's a different problem altogether. Xavier is so under the belief that he's self-righteous that he doesn't even see the kind of monster he is. So that's where the difference in the two men are. They're both monsters of a different variety. Xavier is training 14-year-old children to be X-Men. He's not a good guy.
He leaves 16-year-old girls alone. with
Magneto
monsters.
knows that war's coming,
and
is
he
here.
was attracted to and even sought a relationship with Jean Grey, who was 16. He didn't get it. He stopped himself, but he was interested. And even they asked the question in Ultimate X-Men when they add a new member, one of them says, "So this Xavier guy just dresses his girls in skin-tight leather with open stomachs." And she says, "Yeah, why?" He says, Just curious. Just seems like an interesting choice." And then they go on. Because even the guy that was being added to the roster was like, I can't help but notice that these ladies is awfully sexy. Like, he didn't get ugly Morlock mutants up here in belly shirts.
I'm noticing that to be a mutant in the Xavier School for the Gifted, you must be good looking.
Permaflexed.
Because we can't have no flabby motherfuckers. So, Blob, you're out.
Blob is in the Brotherhood. He's in the Brotherhood.
Yes, why? That's why Blob...
To be fair, they did try to bring him in the third book, and then he fought them with a circus, and, yeah.
They don't tell you this, but Blob wanted to be an X-Men so badly, he went to the school and was like, I like to help you guys.
No.
Xavier was like, no, you're not permaflex.
Not quite, but it was kind of funny to watch him fight the X-Men with a circus.
Oh. I'm just making a joke because he's not permaflex and he can't be part of the team.
But yes,
because even Storm is ripped.
Well, I don't think there's anything else to mention.
No, I think we're good. I think we covered a good chunk of those 2 episodes without basically just telling you the entire episode.
We did basically because we covered all the fights. We covered some of the ridiculousness of those fights.
Some little details, stuff like that.
Most of the dialogue is the only thing we skipped. We got to maybe about half the dialogue, maybe, but other than that, we still told you all the fucking plot points. So, I mean... So
that was the second episode, Comics Toss, and the next time we will be covering, I believe, 5 and 6.
Which I think is the Wolverine Sabertooth stuff.
That covers the... it covers
I jumped ahead just a little bit just to see if maybe that was where we needed to stop, was after 4. Episode 5 is like fucking
5
Jean
deals
Grey
with the
and
Morlocks.
Scott going on fucking dates.
5 deals with the Morlocks, which will lead to Wolverine's heartache, which will send him out of the X-Men, and he will retreat into Canada, where he will have a mission of self-discovery, and then he'll return to the X-Men. So 5 and 6 is our next jump point. So that's what's next.